Night Owls.
Turn on Night Owls.
News, I'm Kat Suave.
Greatest Hits Radio.
And now, the forerunner to Facebook, where your words tell 1,000 Instagrams. Use your phone for making that call. And get talking across the northeast, please. Because this is Night Owls with Alan Robson.
Welcome everybody to the Night Owls program. Thank you for your company. Welcome to everybody watching as well, putting the show on the big screen. Lots of stuff to talk about tonight, but we're starting off with the most aggravated noises. Now, we know about the nails down the blackboard yawn. There's a lot more modern noises. There are other things that we don't like the sound of. As someone who is not a dog owner, I have to say, when you're fast asleep, either people next door banging and clanging because they've got work on. If not that, the sound of dogs barking. There's a family not far from us got two huge, hairy things. They are dogs. But they're really big dogs. And when they bark, everybody for about 500 to 600 yards in both directions hear these dogs. Ooh, ooh. I mean, big dog noise. Really irritating. That's just what irritates me. What irritates you? That's the question. Give us a ring, give us a text, give us a tweet. Just interact. That's what we want from you. Because the thing that has been voted the most irritating and annoying noise, let me share it with you just to be, well, might as well start irritating. You start as we mean to continue. Yeah. It is, yeah. It's an yes. Okay. It's a, yes! Where's the phone? Turn it off. It's an iPhone alarm. Teresa Johnson from Northwest United States. Welcome, y'all. Good to have you with us. Spread the word of the owl and make sure you watch our ghost hunts on Thursday nights. Share them with your pals. Got a lot of other things. So I want the sounds that do your head in, sounds that really irritate. Most everything on my phone irritates me, all the noises it makes. Clever Calvin says the worst noise ever is me ex. I can agree with that and give you a group package. What else are we talking about? Well, we're getting into an area where we've got more freedom than ever before. Well, at least for the last 14, 15 months. I am Alpha. The great chair in the airbase was so scary, he didn't sleep for 2 days. How do these guys do the ghost shows with that much evil? Says I am Alpha, who looks a bit ghostly in the picture. Nails scraping down a blackboard or scraping your knife and fork on an empty plate, cringing. Worst noise has to be my husband snoring. Well, I'm going to share with you. You've mentioned snoring, and I'm sorry I have to do this for you. True story, some of you will already know it. We were doing a show from one of the Caribbean islands to win you guys a chance to go there. And one morning, some of the crew came down and said, I had an awful night last night. I had to change rooms at 3 o'clock in the morning. And I said, oh, why? He said, because we've got a guy in the room next to me, snoring, the worst, horrible snore you've ever heard in your life. And I ended up having to ring reception, and I got moved at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. And the guy further along the same corridor said, I did exactly the same. It was 5:20 this morning. I had to change rooms and move to another floor. And then one of them, a guy called Steve, said, I've recorded him through the wall. And this is the noise they caught through the wall. Through a wall, I tell you.
This is through a wall.
I'm sorry for laughing.
It stops for a bit and then... and I'm talking to something and I'm singing at another point.
What was that?
If I'd said I'd recorded a demon, this would be the demon.
I can't believe it's through a wall.
Yeah, I can't believe it's through a wall. But it was me. I was the one in the room in between. And apparently that's what I sound like some nights. Hell's teeth. There's an education. So what other noises kind of do your head in, please tell me? What can't you wait to do with your newfound freedom? Should Meghan and Harry give up their titles? Some people are asking, oh, hang on. Someone's just said the dentist's drill. And it's that dentist's drill that goes high. Because the one that goes, that's awful enough. There's another one that goes, that's the one. Made me shiver there. Got a check-up in a fortnight. Also, GPs are going to have to start looking at us in the face now, because GPs can do face-to-face appointments. How about that? Got away with it for far too long. Oh, just send me let's Zoom. You don't have to bother coming in. I don't want to have to look at you. Don't want to smell your breath. And also, here's a question. This is a straightforward thing that's been sent in from a lady whose first initial is D. I shall say no more than that. Do you confront your partner if you catch them cheating, or do you confront the person they're cheating on you with? Or do you confront them at all? You not just pull the plug and get the hell out? What do you think? What do you do? 0191 488 3188. Also, Newcastle United, is the takeover still actually on? They're talking like it's going to happen anytime soon. Could be in the close season. Really? And a Newcastle man was fined £4,000 for their garden being a tip. And they showed photographs of it in the press, and it's a complete mess. Loads of building materials everywhere. Fined £4,000 for not tidying it up. There was a brawl at Luton Airport that needed the police to come in to sort it all out. Do you think this is just because we've forgotten how to behave in public? What do you think? Because we can't go, keep away, everybody's toxic. Keep away, keep away. Then all of a sudden everybody's close proximity in a queue. What kind of stuff have you seen out there? Also, the disgusting carnage. Israel, Palestine. First day I started doing a talk show, that was one of the topics that I got hit with. First show. And it's still happening to this day. The leaders of both sides need their heads knocking together. Because they're both completely right. Because they're not prepared to compromise at all. They're right. Full stop. And that's never how life works. In my entire life, I've never been completely right about anything. Been a bit right and a bit wrong. Because we're human beings. And the leaders of Israel and the leaders of especially Hamas should realise that both sides are human beings too. Be a great place to start, wouldn't it? Boris's advisor has been caught out, so he's apologised. Oh, I'm terribly sorry, He agreed to give a man that he's hired to be an advisor to a £187 million loan. Now, I don't know whether you've ever tried to get a loan from a bank. Trust me, you got to have about 20 times the amount of money that you're asking to lend before they'll even look up from the desk. But this guy, because he knew the guy, it was his personal advisor who worked for Boris, he got a £187 million loan, and then Boris gets another free holiday with his other girlfriend, you know, the exotic dancer, off to Mustique, very nice, got that free. Corrupt as hell, the whole lot of them. So how come they're still completely twanking the Labour Party when everybody knows they're corrupt? Or do people get to the point where they don't care anymore? We got the vaccine, they did it. Yeah, but a lot of us got killed before they got to that point. Political things, interesting at present, if you want to talk about it, do. And also, I have to tell you something, I was up in Scotland earlier this week, just for best part of a day. And I stopped in this shop, and I was a bit peckish, and I saw they had a hot cabinet at the back, and it said, homemade hot sausage roll. Now, hey, who can resist when hungry? Hot sausage roll, homemade, oh yeah. Bought said sausage roll. Got back to the car and just sat there enjoying. Didn't enjoy. It was red hot, but the meat was raw. I mean, not just raw, moving. Oh, I've never tasted anything so vile. And I swallowed the first one, and I couldn't believe it. I had to take a second bite. Pastry cooked, meat raw. Oh, lucky to be alive. Have you ever eaten something that looked lovely but tasted gross? Do tell. We've all got stories, and I want them all. Also, ghosts. Somebody sent an email here. Who is it? Kevin McNally. Hi, Kevin. And Kevin says the worst noise he's ever heard is a ghost. Now, we've actually had to deal with ghosts when they're on the telephone. Have a listen.
She sent it to anyone. I'll get it, though. They know where I live. Can I ask those things in the background to leave his phone alone, please? As soon as I said that, it cleared up, so it obviously knows who it's messing with.
I brought something with me, did I?
Who knows?
How about that? During a ghost story, nonetheless. But the iPhone alarm isn't really the worst. Have you got something you can play us that is a noise? Do share. 0191 488 3188. Get your calls in. We are Greatest Hits Radio Northeast. Thanks for being with us. And thanks to all of you that helped on our legendary Cash for Kids Day. It went amazingly well. Thanks to you lot. Really appreciate the help you give us. Every penny will be used for kids in our patch that need it. So thank you sincerely for that. I think it's about time I rattled a tune in your direction. And let's have something that is indeed a greatest hits.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another one of our legendary ghost hunts. Alan Robson with you. For those that don't know me, I have been hunting for weird and strange things all over planet Earth on radio and television for a number of years. And tonight, we're in a place that I'm going to describe, and I don't say this kind of thing often. We are in a place that is a battery for ghosts. This place is steeped in stuff, and with good reason too. And I'll be telling you all of those reasons as we go. But let's start by introducing you to the team tonight. First of all, on camera and producing whatever this is Hollywood Tony McShane. Yes, Tony. And since we've been here, we've had all kinds already.
Yeah, we were trying to do a little photo in that one there, and it recorded a video instead, and we heard a girl scream or cry or something like that.
Since we've started, the one thing that people have been asking for was a picture of all three of us. So we decided we get the three of us together, and you've got the camera that you can say fire, like a GoPro, fire a stream of photographs, and they go ping, ping, ping. But they're all stills.
Yeah.
Yet, when this girl screamed, it went to video for no apparent reason.
I didn't see a video, it just recorded. It wanted to be picked up.
It wanted to be picked up. So we'll be able to show you that, not tonight, because we're doing this, but we'll put that out so you can see it. And it's the weirdest thing. And to me, it's saying tonight, we're not going to be shy. And I really believe that. We talk about the three of us. Yes, Kenny. Kenny has been with me on a number of trips all over the place, as Tony has. And we've been looking for things. You've become fascinated because an entire a wall of a building has been moving.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally 4 times I've seen it, and it's just across there. It's a big steel
hangar door.
And you cannot move it. There's no wind. We've been inside that building and we've watched it move 4 times, just literally slide by itself and make a noise as well. And it's not just me. A few have been and just had a look there and just thought, what? Why is that moving? Why is it moving?
Well, we don't know.
We'll catch that.
We don't know, but hopefully you'll see all of that a little bit later on too. Now, we are at what I always thought was the Great Northeast Air Museum. It's now the Land, Sea and Air Museum. And you'll be able to see that. They've changed the things that you can see when you come here massively. You're going to be in for a real treat. For the time that they've been off, they've not stopped. They've been really changing this place. So you're in for a treat. We know that the last time we came here as a ghost hunt, it was on radio. We caught a lot of noises and a lot of things. And I've been hearing noises from outside, from inside, just as I've been walking along. So please let that continue. Love and respect everything that's here. Keith, the owner, he's been bombarding us with incredible photographs. But there's a few things I want to show you first. Let's just tootle along in this direction if you can, unplug the camera, and off you come. Now, as you can see, there's aircraft of every kind. If you look, and we've still got a little bit of light, so I'm not sure you're going to really need too much of the of that. But you can see aeroplanes in all directions. Fantastic things. And yet it's across here that I want you to see. If you look in that area, it's probably the least interesting area of the entire place. And I want you to look at the building that's past it. Now, at the present moment, I think it's some kind of Italian restaurant. It used to be known as the Three Horseshoes. It's a well-known pub from this neck of the woods. And if we go across to the fence, we'll be able to see. I think it's serving outdoor drinks tonight, and I can't blame them. Any excuse at all. I think it's called Rustica. It used to be the Three Horseshoes, and it was very well known. But I want to take you back to 1820. It's a long time ago, and yet I know it's through a fence. We could have walked along, but I thought we'll stay on the property. As I say, this place here used to be the Three Horseshoes. There's even signs on the roundabout saying this way to the Three Horseshoes. It's not that anymore. But in 1820, it was the Coach and Horses. It was a coach house for any coaches traveling up from London. And there's 2 amazing stories from that very place that affects what happens right here. First of all, there was a guy who used to live in a little hut next to Penshire Monument, but he used to come here as the place to do his trade. He did a little bit of gambling, a little bit of all the naughty stuff. Most bars have got one of them. And this guy realized that he needed more money. Now, he never worked, but throughout his life, he started suddenly having his own carriage, suddenly having a lot of bling, suddenly buying people meals and buying drinks and buying some of the expensive ladies who worked there. Now, it seems that what he was doing was farming. Did you hear that? Did you hear a noise down there?
Straight away there. It's going to be
This is going to be great tonight. But what this guy did, he started farming young girls. People would come up to the coach house, they'd be traveling through, and suddenly their daughter would go missing, or the girl behind the bar would go missing. And it happened to numerous women and people that were traveling by. When they left the coach house, they would never reach their next destination. And they're saying, well, they stayed here, so there's obviously nothing wrong. They left here and they were okay. And what this man was doing, his name was Edward Bowker. He was essentially murdering the people and stealing all their goods. So when they left, they're there in their coach, traveling up. They've got all their belongings. They've got all their riches, all of their money, all their jewels. He'd kill them, put them in a tea chest, seal the tea chest with tar, and send them to Edinburgh to a man called Sandy Mackay. Now you think, well, who's Sandy Mackay? Sandy Mackay had two people in Glasgow that he was known for working with, and two other people in Edinburgh. The two
You're going to be talking about tonight? Well, let us find out. For we have our first caller lurking. She's lurking. Oh, yeah. It's Donna, and she's in South Shields. Hi, Donna.
Hello, Alan.
Hello, darling. So what's
I'm a little bit nervous.
Oh, no need for that. We're family, for heaven's sake. So, what's the noise that does it for you, that does your head in?
Oh, when the dogs clean themselves, it's like a... Oh, it really irritates the life out of me.
And also, two reasons possibly. One, because they seem to be enjoying it so much. Because when I'm having when I'm having a bath and I've got me sponge and I'm doing all me delicate bits and bobs, I'm not going, oh, this is really... You just don't. You just get yourself washed, get any muck and any sweat off, and you're done.
It's like they get too into it, don't they?
Well, mind you, I would imagine if we were licking the bits that they're licking, maybe it would do more for us. I don't know. But I'm not prepared to put me back out to find out. That's the thing.
Alan, I've got a little ghost story to tell you.
Oh, lovely. Do tell it. Go for it.
Right, well, do you know the South Shields Marketplace?
Yes.
Well, I was in the ladies' toilets a few weeks ago, and every time I go in there, I get, like, the hair stand up on the back of my neck.
Right.
And every time I've been in, I've got, like, this sense of people, like, sort of stuck underneath, like, the building, right?
Right.
And you always feel as though someone's watching you all the time, and the doors are slamming on their own. And then a couple of days later, I actually found out that there was a bomb. A bomb had hit there.
Right.
And there was an area shot out underneath where people had died.
Well, because the shell had collapsed on them.
Yeah.
Wow. Hey.
And I had sensed that as well, and I was like a bit taken aback when I found out.
No, I bet, because if you think about it, you obviously didn't know that had happened, and it's a very distinct. It's not like saying, I think somebody might have died here, which is could be in any way that they died, and it's also not saying it was a heart attack or somebody got knocked down here or somebody got killed on this spot. It was very particular. It's somebody was trapped underneath.
Yeah, it was like in
this
the
building.
families like huddled together.
Yeah, yeah.
And I know I was sitting on the toilet and I saw like this shadow going on, you know, the gap underneath the door.
Yeah.
I saw like a shadow walking past, but there was literally nobody in the toilet, and the doors just slam on their own. It's just really, the hairs just go up on the back of your neck. It's horrible.
Did it help the function? The fright.
Got us out quicker. Alan, I wanted to ask you something as well. Do you know when you call me ghost hunt?
Yes.
And you're sitting there in silence. Has anyone ever farted and give you a fright?
No.
No.
No, and I've not heard a ghost one either. Because you would imagine they'd be silent but deadly anyway, the ghosty ones. But I have had similar smells, and it wasn't from me. So whether or not that's part of it. Because the thing that you can't get when you watch one, because I mean we're used to listening to them, and now we're getting used to being able to see them.
Mm-hmm.
But we haven't quite got the technology so that you can all smell them from home. Otherwise, who knows? Cause,
you know what? I've listened to you since I was about 11 or 12, and I'm 41 now, but I've never had the nerve to ring up.
Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah, well done.
I love listening to all your ghost hunts. And honestly, if I went on one of them, I'd quite happily sit in a dark room on my own. I'm literally obsessed with the paranormal.
And you know, I would let you.
Would you?
Yeah, absolutely. We're looking for volunteers who are prepared to go out. And you see, at the present moment, we're still a little bit tied down because of the lockdown thing.
I know.
But we're getting more freedoms every day. And when we get the all clear, we want to take people with us everywhere we go. That's
honestly, Alan, I'm up for anything because I love everything to do with ghosts and the paranormal.
Right. So what is that the most vivid thing that you've experienced then?
Yeah, actually, that's the first ghostly thing I've experienced. But I'd love to just experience other things.
Just
as well.
See what else is there. Yeah.
Yeah, I just really want to know if there's something out there.
You're open to it. Hey, why the hell not, Donna? But thank you very much for being a first timer. Lovely to hear from you. Thanks for ringing.
Can you shout out my friend Gavin Collins?
Hello, Gavin.
Thank you.
No worries. Bye bye. How's your bum for spots and all those other things? 0191 488 3188. Worst noises. And it's Gemma this time. She's in heaven. Hello, Gemma.
Hello, Alan.
Hello, love. What can we do for you tonight?
Oh, I'm so nervous.
No need for that. What you got for me anyway?
Well, I read the actual messages about strange noises, but then someone commented about things that actually annoy you.
Yes.
And I had put on, picking your dog poo up and actually standing in another person's dog poo sort of thing.
Absolutely. Because if you go to the trouble to pick yours up and then you step in some ignorant person's dog poo that they haven't bothered, that must do you absolute head. And there's nothing more embarrassing, you know. And I know it's not a good look. Because, you know, I know a lot of people who are dog owners, they go out and they mix with people and they talk to everybody else who's got a dog. And, you know, it's part of the social life of a dog owner. But you can't look cool, you can't look sexy when you're squatting down after a dog's left just a pile of poop. Anyway, it's impossible. So that's not good. But I'll tell you what's a worse look. And that's when you've got a nice pair of trainers on or a nice pair of shoes and it's covered with dog poo and you're trying to get it off.
Worse, Alan.
But you try to scrape it off on a curb, but that doesn't do the job enough. So then you're getting down with tissues and you think, I have to put them in the dog poo bag. And it's just it's just filthy. I think the people that do that are very sad individuals. They're not doing dog ownership any favours at all.
No, because once one does it, they class it all as the same sort of thing, don't they?
Absolutely. As soon as they see a dog going, I bet it was her. Look, I bet she doesn't pick it up. Yeah, you get all of that. I mentioned last week that because we were talking about icky things, you know, things that make you cringe. And I really wouldn't, having had to do it with a family member who was getting elderly, you know, picking poo and stuff up and cleaning it all up. But the one thing I didn't have to do was put my hand in a plastic bag and pick it up while it was still warm. You know, I didn't have to do that. I had to clean it off, maybe off a sheet or something, and then put the sheet in the washing, which is, you know, that fair. It's nasty, but it's still better than feeling that warm. No, good.
You know, Alan. You know, I've listened to you since I was about 9 or 10 years old because my mum was a massive Night Owl fan.
Hey, good.
And we always used to listen to you all the time. And then 11 o'clock you used to get your serious Night Owls with your tunes and things on.
Uh-huh.
Honestly, and then I was also, you went to the Metal Centre about 1996, 1997.
Right.
And I actually won the dance competition from yourself.
Oh, there you go. You must be brilliant. You must be very bendy.
I actually got, because I had to come down the steps.
Yeah.
And it was where Primark is now.
Yes.
you were there and you had your stage and like that. And you actually picked us out, and I won a white T-shirt with Metal Radio on, and I think it was about 1996, 1997.
Jeepers. How old were you then? Just a bit.
Oh, God, that's telling something. I was 13 years old.
Oh, there you go. Hey, well, you must have been good, otherwise you wouldn't have been the chosen one. Well done,
I
you.
actually have a photo with yourself with me white T-shirt on.
There you go. Hey, great. Happy memories. Happy days, love. Thank you very much for coming down. But great hearing from you too. Thanks for ringing in.
Thank you very much, Alan. You take care.
You as well. Gemma there in heaven. Play me first two callers. Long-term owls as well. Now, Drake is with us in Heaton. I presume his partner's called Duck. Hiya, Drake.
It's just because I like Uncharted, Alan.
I've got you. I'm with you.
So I copied it off that. And I love pirates and stuff like that, so I love anything like
So you could have been Kid or Morgan or any of those pirates then, couldn't you?
I suppose I could have. I never thought about it.
Have you got a little bit of like lady fuzz on your chin? Because you could have been Blackbeard at a push.
Well, actually, there's a little bit more there than there should be. Unfortunately.
Hey, it happens. It takes a quick zzz and it's gone. No worries. So, what are you talking about tonight with us?
It was firstly about the hugging and the opening up of the restrictions.
Yeah.
We aren't a hugging family, so we won't be doing any hugging. We've never done hugging in my life, and I'm 61 now.
You've never done hugging?
No, never.
Why?
My parents.
Why not?
Mum and Dad, it's the way they brought us up. They just, like, if you fell, my mum would just shout at you and you would just get up, and my dad was a soldier, so very strict. So we didn't hug, and it's just been like that all my life, you know.
That's funny because my parents, my mum was a hugger, but my dad wasn't, because, again, forces background, strict, not so much military in the house, but very particular about how things were done. They had to be done his way, otherwise you got into trouble. But that made me more cuddly. Even with mates, you know, when you're playing football, your arms would be around them, and you'd see a friend, you'd give them a hug, and I'm a right hugger, me. I can't help myself.
Yeah,
I've even had a sly hug here and there during the lockdown, and it's just because you do it and then you go, oh, I'm going to get the look.
Shouldn't have done it.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've got a cousin who one day she seen us and she went to hug us, and I remember just tensing up and thinking, get away, you can't hug.
Blimey.
You know, I just tensed straight up.
But is that not sad, though? Because all they're doing is trying to show you a little bit of love.
It is, but
it's just the way you were raised. You can't help
it. Just the way I was raised, you know, that's the problem. But so for me, it won't happen. And to be honest, people are going to shoot us down flames for this, but I quite enjoyed the lockdown because it made us learn to enjoy the parks again, walk again, and check out Newcastle, bits of it that I didn't even know after 61 years.
Jeepers,
and
ridiculous.
It also made us realise I didn't need to spend as much at shops as I thought I did.
That's true.
As well.
All of that's absolutely true, I think, for most people. And the not knowing what's on your own doorstep, I think, is sinful. Because
it's shocking.
And not so very long ago, I went up to, we did some shows. This is probably about 2 years ago now. We went up to Edinburgh and we did a week of, it was part of a week of shows in Scotland, various places. But we did 2 days in Old Town, Edinburgh. As a kid, all the way up to the time of life that I am now, I've always visited Edinburgh, and you do Princes Street, and you do all the streets behind Princes Street, and you do one end, and they do the other end. I'd never, ever been to the Old Town, and it's amazing. And then you go to Newcastle, or Sunderland, or Durham, any of our towns, 2:30, you do the middle bit where all the shops are. And there's amazing things to be seen in all directions. And you never bother to look at what's on your doorstep.
You're right. I mean, I'd always read about the watermill in Jesmond Dean.
Yes.
But I had never gone to it. And thought, this is amazing. And I collect pictures of, you know, the logos they put on the walls and that, the round logo. I collect pictures of all of them for my Facebook. And I couldn't believe some of the amazing things I found in the parks and started noticing the robins, the birds more, things that we'll all forget about because we're all wrapped up in rushing around, you know.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
I'm not, it sounds awful, but didn't care if they didn't reopen up because I've been all right. That sounds awful, I know, but I've been all right with it the way it is, you know.
You've designed your life around how it was. Now, the thing is, you don't have to change much. If you think about it, you can still hit the parks. You can still do all of the stuff that you did, still visit the parts of towns and cities and play. You got to remember that if Newcastle's your thing, because you're a burb, really. You're a suburban Newcastle person, Heaton. But it's not hard for you to get into Baker. It's not hard for you to walk across that bridge into the city if you wanted to. And but you can walk the other way.
It's
there's loads of, you go in any direction from where you are and you'll come to somewhere that's got amazing stories. And I know some people get a bus pass and just get on the bus and boogie. You know, if you've got a week's bus pass, use it.
Funny you say that because I got a one about 3 weeks ago. £15 it cost us, and I clocked it up to £100 in a week.
But how great's that?
Get me £15 worth. And I was absolutely shattered by the Saturday. But I was on about 7 buses a day.
Wow.
And I was just dotting off here and dotting off there and reminiscing in the parks and remembering being a child in the exhibition park and just walking for miles, you know.
But I bet you made more memories in that week than you had for probably the last 3 months.
It's true. I did. Yeah, very much so.
Because we've all been used to kind of being imprisoned a bit. Because at the very start of it all, everybody just kind of, I'll stay in then. And then you watched all the crap TV, you watched every DVD you'd ever owned, and you've seen them 3 times, then you watch whatever satellite you can afford, and you do all of that, and then you sit around looking at each other and picking on each other's faults. That seems to be what everybody's done. But,
that's spot on, that, yeah.
But you've got to get the hell out and do stuff. And if you do stuff, it makes life more interesting.
Well, last Sunday, we went to a car boot sale, and when I got there, I thought, I don't want to be here. It was weird. I'd always liked them, you know, and I thought, I just want to go to the park. I don't want to do this.
Right.
Yeah, it was really weird, you know, and I thought, it's altered me. It's programmed us, this lockdown. It's changed us, you know, as a person.
Well,
maybe
the things that you're happy with, keep. And the things that you're not happy with, you can change. So,
yeah, well, I was going to say, have I got time for one more thing?
Of course you can. Go for it.
Oh, good. I was going to say, talk a bit about family. We, because of the lockdown, ran out of money, and we did have a caravan, so we've had to sell it. And one of my relatives, obviously I won't say who, asked us for money. I mean, a lot of money, Alan. They asked us for £10,000.
Cheap.
And I said no, and I was subject to 2.5 hours of just verbal abuse on the phone, on text, just because I wouldn't lend them this £10,000. And I need it for myself. And I know, you know, it is a lot of money, but we've had to sell a hard-earned caravan that my husband worked for years, you know.
And I bet you loved it as well. Did you have to say goodbye?
It was in Berwick.
Oh, there you go. Lovely place.
But the abuse I got for that was absolutely horrendous.
And you know, the best thing is, in my opinion, and I have loaned probably 5 times what I would call a significant amount to people. And I'm talking things with lots of notes to people. On all but one of them, I never got close to my money back. Exactly. Now, I have borrowed, and to be honest, I shouldn't have, but I did borrow, and it was all paid back, because they asked me to pay it back quicker than was the original plan, which caused all kinds of issues, but hey, fair dues, they wanted the money back. Done. Sorted. Nailed. However, my advice to anybody, especially as I've lost a fortune on people that I really believed I could absolutely trust, because you wouldn't give it in other circumstances, the quickest way to lose a friend is to either lend people money or borrow money from them. It's a guaranteed pain in the backside, and it will ruin families, friendships, and people who are really close, who care for each other. It does that. And there is an old phrase that says, never a lender nor a borrower be. In other words, look after yourself and don't lend money to other people, because 9 times out of 10 they'll renege. And that's my experience. And it's not worth wrecking a family, because if you'd have loaned them that money, I guarantee they wouldn't have paid the whole lot back.
I wouldn't have got it back.
No.
And there's another, well, there was 2 relatives at separate times asked for the same amount, which I thought was odd. And I thought, no, we've worked all our life for that.
Did they ask for that amount because they heard how much you sold your caravan for?
Yeah, that was why. And I knew but neither of them would be in the position to ever pay it back. So it would be like giving them it, really. And, you've got to keep a bit for yourself, haven't you, really?
Well, you've just got to be sensible with it. The bottom line is times are getting tougher. Money's harder to get. So if you have an asset, which is essentially what you cashed in your asset and you made a little bit of money, but this was something that you loved, and you wouldn't have sold the caravan if you hadn't needed the money for yourselves. And even if it was to put away as a nest egg or to have that fallback money, in case the bottom falls out your world. But what you don't do is give it to somebody else, because when you need it and you go to them, I can't help you there.
Won't be there. Truth is, Alan, we originally got the caravan, it's going back a bit, and it was 45 grand at the time.
Wow.
And we sold it for 16. That's all we got for it. It really, you know what I like, they depreciate like cars.
Absolutely.
And I was devastated when he said 16, and of course these family members think that's a fortune. I went, but we took a loss of nearly 28 grand.
You did, and on the other side of that, when it comes time, if you're thinking, I'd love to buy a new caravan, you're not going to get one for 16 grand that's remotely like the one you've just sold.
Definitely not. So it was a bit of bother. I mean, my family, some of them over the years have pulled some shocking stunts, as families do. I've had friends who've been better to us than family.
Well, me too. And people who should have been close have robbed and cheated and all of those kind of things, just like everybody else. I mean, I'm not setting myself apart. Families tragically do that, which is why I've always said that it's your friends. Your friends are the family that you choose yourself, not the ones that are inflicted on you.
I took your advice as well. And I've heard you say sometimes, because I've listened to you since the 80s, when you said, move on, don't get involved, let them go. If that's the way they want to go on, just move on. Don't deal with toxic people.
And if they come back to you and they want to try, I'm not adverse to giving somebody another chance. But the second they go back to being the pain or the irritation, it's not worth it. It's not worth having that kind of thing in your life. So you just got to ride with it and forget about them.
Because on top of that, I've been ill. I had quite serious blood clot in my leg for a year as well. It's just I got good news last week. It had dissolved. It's gone.
Great, that's
so
fantastic.
I was over the moon with that. But you don't need the hassle, and money seems to be the root of all evil.
Absolutely.
In
my experience.
The last thing I was going to say was noise that I hate. Screaming kids in the supermarket. Absolutely hate it. When it goes right through you when they scream when the man won't buy them something.
Yeah, and the other thing I'm going to chuck in, just because it's kind of the same, it's you go and I stopped a car once on a lovely country afternoon drive, and there was a sign up saying country fair. I thought, how lovely. Got to drive in. Didn't know the village, never heard of it, but country fair, I could do that. Went there and there was a little tea shop in the corner, cream teas. Not that I wanted a cream tea, but I thought I'll have a cup of tea. I'll have a bit of homemade cake. This is all right. And as soon as I got in, there was a family, of about 2 parents and about 5 kids. 2 of the kids running around the table screaming at each other, chasing, and as soon as somebody looked up at the family, and the dad shouts across the tea room, "What you looking at?" And you think, "Oh, here we go." You know, yeah. I'll eat me cake in the car. Life's too short for those kind of creatures and loud kids and all of that. Absolutely. I get you. I'm with you there.
I don't know if you, just before I go, Alan, I won't keep you any longer. I remember do you remember on Condigan Road when you went to reopen the bingo?
I do.
And you were calling and I won the first house that you called.
You see,
I remember shouting and I won it. And I seen you on the stage and went, "Hurrah, we have a winner," and it was me.
There you
and
go.
I remember, I think you had a car outside a convertible or something. I think it was a yellow, unless I'm getting that muddled up. Well, it was a yellow car out the side and I thought it was yours. But I do remember that. It was going back quite a while, like I'm going back to the 80s, I think.
Yes. Yeah.
Late 80s.
Yeah, I
I
remember.
mean, my mum used to go there quite a bit and they were doing it up at the time.
That's right.
And I think you've been invited to open it up. I think I won that house anyway.
It was the grand reopening of it in the Aspie.
Everybody's got a memory of you, haven't they?
Well, bless, and thank heavens for that. Lovely talking to you. Thank you very much, Drake. All the best, love.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. How nice is that? And you're right, every caller tonight's going back to those days. I'll tell you what, instead of that, let's just quickly do a little alien drop, shall we? Brilliant band. Their name is James. She's a star and a great track that I'm going to play for you. I talked to them about something different. Alien things. Either of you ever seen a UFO? What's your thoughts on alien anything?
We've gone from, when Sir Fred Hoyle, who was the Queen's astrologer in about early 70s, wrote a book saying there are probably aliens out there, he was ridiculed and he lost his reputation overnight.
Right.
And now we've got to the point where 98% of scientists believe it's a given. There is clearly intelligent life out there, and it isn't us.
Because it kind of tips up every faith system in the world.
Yes.
And I mean, the Christians have enough difficulty trying to explain dinosaurs.
I personally think that actually lots of these animals are higher intelligences. We just don't realise it.
Right.
I'm into octopuses at the moment. I think they are a higher intelligence.
I'll buy you one. I will.
There's an octopus in San Diego Zoo, a big octopus, and they can squeeze through a hole the size of their beak because everything else is
liquidy.
malleable.
Yeah.
And the fish were going missing in the zoo, and they put out CCTV cameras, and it was squeezing through something tiny, and this was like a 10-foot octopus, and it was walking across the floor, getting into the fish tank, taking a few fish, and it knew to get back in its tank before the security came in the morning.
That's brilliant. That's an intelligence.
That's an intelligence.
That is a super intelligence.
And they could make an awful lot of money operating and opening up a dead body and having an audience in for it. Horrific and macabre, but true. Now, when Burke and Hare were caught in one of their books, there's payments made by S. Mackay, payments made by their own 2 doctors that they used, and in one of them it says 31 times they've paid money to E. Bowker. Now, you presume no address, so he couldn't be arrested, but we presume E. Bowker paid 31 times, 31 lives, maybe. And the only reason he was caught was purely by accident. There was a woman from Newby Hall in Ripon. Her name was Emily Margaret Ross. And she was the niece of the Devonshire family who owned... I'm getting voices. Did you hear that? It might be real people. I think that's real people.
Could be real people.
Shivers. Right. So anyway, this Ross girl, she was staying there. She was just getting ready to leave, and suddenly she disappeared. And the family went ape looking for her. And beyond that, suddenly she appears on the road, running away from somebody, screaming, "Help, help, help." She runs in front of a carriage and 4, and it kills her. And a lot of people believe she was running away from Bowker, who was trying to kill and molest her, before putting her into one of the sealed boxes. Bowker was eventually hanged by the neck until he died. A young girl, believed to be a lady of the night, was murdered just over there at the back of the building. She's supposed to have some imprint in this building too. So everywhere you look, there's a story. And we haven't even mentioned the fact that this is a massacre site from the Romans, but I'll tell you about that when we get to it. I think the first thing we should do is just get in and get started, because there's so much. We have essentially 6 places to visit. We've got outside, which we're going to do when it gets a bit darker. We have hangar 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and we're going to bounce because the one that I feel has the most to offer. Oh, and other than that, we've got Keith, who's going to show us spirit tonight. It's going to be a good one this evening. We're going to see what he and his spirits can do. What he said to me earlier was, and I absolutely believe this, if you work or live in a place that has spirit, they get used to you, they get comfortable with you, and that's absolutely the case. They say they show themselves to Keith and they allow him to photograph them because they're at ease with his company, because he accepts them. But anyway, let's tootle. Oh, that's a good idea. Incidentally, if you share, always forget to share. If you share, you could win yourself one of our Night Owl badges. Should build a collection for the whole family. They're right there. Please just share this show. Send it out there as far as we can. We've got no idea what's going to happen. Whatever happens will happen. We're not going to help it along. It's going to be whatever you see. This is your journey. Let's start it off. In the first hangar, everywhere you go in here, there's something special and spectacular. I don't know how much light you're going to need, Tony, because a lot of the stuff in here with the light, and they've got open panels in the ceiling to let the existing light, and there you go. They're helping you out as we speak. Everywhere you go, there's a... And this is the place that we were in before when we heard a girl's voice. And as you can see, in this atmosphere, we have our base is going to be here. We've got our big torches if we should need them, and I think a little bit later on we will. In every case, there's a little bit of the history of the Northeast in all directions. And what a cool old radio. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm a sucker for old radios. Look at that. Lovely looking thing. Absolutely old-fashioned fireplace with your clothes horse that you used to warm your clothes on. Please, everybody, look beyond what we're looking at, because look at everything in these windows. They're just fantastic. Just when you look at all the things in here, look at that. An airman never was so much owed by so many to so few. A classic Churchill expression. Look at this. A lifeboat transmitter to try and save people's lives when they're at sea. Incredible. And yet, even simple things like this display, where possibly your mother, if you're old enough, or your grandma certainly, would possibly have been cooking bread like that, corned beef, spam, and smoking Players cigarettes. I grew up looking at packets like that with my dad, and these were the kind of things that you would get rationed. Bits of meat, bits of bacon and ham, margarine, toys for the bairns down here. This is the high street. Absolutely amazing place. And this is what it must have looked like in a blackout. So come on, we're here.
Bun tea.
Brook Bond, yeah. Coleman's mustard. Tizer, the appetizer. Fabulous. We're here to see you. Please show yourselves. Let us be known. Let it be known what you are and where you are. This is a searchlight.
Yeah,
you know, for...
Yeah, in the sky.
Yeah. You thought our torches were strong. You see, they've got tank tracks on the bottom so they can move across any kind of land. It's absolutely fascinating. Bus shelters. You've got to keep a lookout with us. There will be things here to be seen. We need your help to see them. Then you come in here and you're surrounded by aeroplanes. There's such a space. I might take this bike, but I would fall off because my sense of balance is horrific. Now in here, in this particular glass box, there's a spirit trap that they've left in one place. It's right there. I don't know whether you can see that, Tony, probably better than...
It's tiny, but you can see it.
There's it's a tiny little center of a compass, really. That's what I think it is.
Compass, yeah.
And the idea is that if there's anything about it should move, and it has moved.
Yeah.
You were fairly certain that you saw it. I haven't seen it move yet, but hopefully it will. If you can see it, it's tiny, small.
You've seen the story of the guy in here as well, the pictures and stuff.
I haven't. What is the story?
Apparently,
this guy, Edgar Grenville Shaw.
It's his wreckage that crashed.
Yeah, that's his wreckage.
Give all
in there.
He's apparently here.
And the thing that really annoyed him was he got a brand new car, brand new MG, on the week of his birthday, and he died before he even drove it. So when you mention that, apparently that compass moves.
You just mentioned it.
Yeah.
So that's...
The compass apparently moves.
Did you ever go into your MG? MG. Did you ever drive your MG? MG. We would have loved you to have driven it. We're so sorry. What a mess. Look at this. Data. A Merlin engine recovered and restored from a Hawker Hurricane, which were one of the... Look at that. Look at what's left. This was a plane. Look at that, was the strapper on his chest. You know that you would...
Yeah.
Unbelievable. And all of this, that's all that was left of a plane that saved Great Britain in World War II. Amazing. To that little girl who was here...
To their beautiful little angel after he died in a suspected gas explosion in Lancashire this morning. The blast, which killed George Arthur Hines, completely destroyed 2 houses and badly damaged another in Heysham. Emily Downey lives nearby.
When it happens to your community, it puts that thought in your mind of that could have been me. You know, what if? It's tragic, isn't it? You know, it's been such an awful year already, and now, you know, something like this happens.
In sports, Liverpool goalkeeper Alisson scored a last-minute winner as they came from behind to beat West Brom 2-1. Elsewhere, Tottenham won 2-0 against Wolves and Everton suffered a 1-0 defeat to Sheffield United. And Chelsea suffered a 4-0 defeat to Barcelona in the Women's Champions League final. The WSL and League Cup winners were aiming to clinch the title for the first time. From Sky News, I'm Kat Suave.
Thanks, Kat. Alan Robson with you. This is Greatest Hits Radio. And let us crack on, get as many of you on the air as we possibly can. So get your calls in. I'm going to give you 4 clues for tonight's hit link, where, of course, you could win the legendary Night Owls mug. There you go. If you would like to win it, and we're running out of them, and then we'll move on to some other giveaway. But the last of the mugs, we're very close. So if you want one, now is the time. Going to give you 4 clues. Each clue is a song title. So you'll end up with 4 song titles, and you simply tell me who or what link the 4 songs together. See how you get on with this. The first clue: what gropers, molesters, rapists and flashers get charged with? Okay? And this is a song title we're looking for. What gropers, molesters, rapists and flashers get charged with? Okay? All horrific, scummy crimes. But what do they get charged with? It's a song title that you're looking for. 3 more clues to come, then you can have a guess. Chris, waiting for your calls. as we speak, but do not ring till you hear the fourth clue. Let's head across to Gateshead, where we've got Stephen Crester. Hello, guys. What can we do for you two?
Hello.
Hello.
First thing on the menu. Did you, on Twitter, I sent you a few pictures.
Oh, I have not seen the pictures on Twitter. Guys, over to you if you can dig them out for me.
I put them on Twitter, and I did get a reply which appeared to be from you.
It will be the guys next door who would automatically do that. Then they'll send me them on the screen here. They're doing that now. So tell us what they are,
Okay.
and we'll have a look.
Well, first of all, when we took the pictures, we just take pictures at random in wherever we are.
Right.
You know, just anything. And we didn't actually see them with our own eyes, but they did happen to show up on the camera. Now, I don't know how that occurs.
Right.
So we didn't actually see them, but
you caught them when you looked at the photograph. Then.
When we looked at the photos, because sometimes we may go somewhere, we may have 400 photos and there might be nothing.
Right.
Or there might be 2 or whatever. But anyway, that's firstly.
Right. The guys are just telling me that you didn't send them to us, or whoever's answered, and it
I sent them to your Twitter account on Night Owls on Twitter account.
Oh, it was last week you sent them.
Yeah.
Right, not today. That's because we found them, we got them. We're stacking them up now as we speak. So no worries. I'll have them very, very soon. So where were you, and what did you get?
Well, the pictures, what's on the pictures is my girlfriend was bent down at a soldier's grave with her spirit box.
Right.
And I took a picture behind her. I took quite a number.
Right.
And on the photos, there's a figure behind her, like looking down on her.
Well, I'm looking at those pictures right now, and there's one where there's a smoky figure, a large man by the look of things, directly behind her.
Yeah, in the bush. Like you can only see half of whatever you think it is. Well, there's that one. Then there's ones with some mist behind her, and I believe it's an animal's face. Because there's one is slightly enhanced.
Right.
A friend done it for her.
Yeah, one looks like a big teddy bear, but it cannot be a big teddy bear. But the other one that's here, there's a one of like a small male figure. Looks like a small old man, really, judging by the face, with hair on the back of his head. And he's just to the right-hand side. That's the one that I think, because he's got them on screen for everybody at home as well at the moment. The first one with the big misty figure is quite scary. And the first one looks like, if you could go back to the very first one, it looks like it's a young girl that's kind of leaning back into the bush, if that makes sense.
So, I took it. I thought it could be even the soldier's mother, the soldier's girlfriend. Or
yeah, absolutely.
Not really anything.
But they're amazing because, first of all, it's very hard to catch stuff at all. But for you to get like 3-4 shots in the same place, and it's obvious that your girlfriend had no idea what was behind her.
No, because I didn't see it. I was just taking the wild shots. And those probably weren't on the same night.
Right.
There would be different nights.
All right, I see.
And another little thing.
Right.
You've did a lot of like different ghost hunts in various places.
Sure.
And there's 1 or 2 places you've been to. Well, it's a museum, actually. I'll not name the museum, just in case they'll get a return visit of Most Haunted.
Right.
But when they were there, they were faking what they were doing.
Were they?
Yeah, they were throwing nuts and bolts.
Oh, that's no good.
And they were warned, stop it, you might break something. And that was from staff there that told us.
That's shocking.
So they were faking it. And I don't know if you know REM pods and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You can set them off very easily, remotely, with the two-way radio.
Never liked them. Never wanted to use them.
I've never.
No.
It's the girlfriend who's more into that. But anyway, we would just experiment. And you can set them off. You can get them to do anything with a two-way radio. They'll respond to it.
Yeah, that's why I'll never use one.
The spirit boxes are the same. Actually, I can send by radio.
Can you?
Whatever I want to them.
Really? I've not thought about it, used the technology. We've got a spirit box that we use. We've tried a few apps. Some of them aren't very good at all. Found one that is kind of works, and we're not putting anything into it other than what's just coming out of it. But who knows? You don't know whether it's real, or you don't know whether it's just what people want to believe. We've got one, as I say, that I think is pretty good and has given us some good results. But I would hate to think there's some guy behind a bush with a radio going, Brian,
Well,
the name's Brian.
We were experimenting with my girlfriend's got a REM pod, and we were experimenting because when we first got it, the instructions was practically nil. So we had to play and see how sensitive it wasn't, and what would affect it, and just so we know in the future.
Sure.
But I have had the odd little thing in the house where we're in now.
Like what?
Well, one day I was in the bedroom and the girlfriend was downstairs.
Right.
And I heard heavy footsteps coming upstairs. So obviously I thought it was her. There was only the two in at the time.
Right.
So the footsteps stopped outside the bedroom. And I thought, what is she trying to do? Spy through the crack in the door to see if I'm up to something or what?
Right.
But anyway, I was just about to go and pull her, shall we say, what she was doing. And the footsteps went to the front room. So after a couple of minutes, I thought, I'm going to go out and see what she's up to. I went to the front room, and there was nobody there.
Right.
And then when I looked outside, she was outside at the back. She wasn't even in the house.
Right.
The front door was locked.
Right.
So, and the footsteps were quite loud.
So how do you explain? Is it a house that's attached to another house, or is it like detached?
Yes.
It's semi-detached.
Yes.
Could it not have been people next door crunching up the stairs?
No, it was too loud for that.
Right.
And the footsteps, the floorboards creaked.
All right.
So it wasn't that.
Right.
And when I've been at the toilet early in the morning, I've heard a voice, woman's voice, saying, hiya. And I should have answered back, but I didn't.
Yeah,
obviously I wasn't expecting it. I was a bit surprised, and by the time I thought, I just didn't do it. But
but also when you're standing there with Big Willie, the one thing you don't want is over to go, hiya! Whoa! Hang about.
I thought you were spying on us, maybe. I thought I maybe could get a date.
No, but you see, I genuinely believe that most people have stuff in their own homes, and I know we like to go to places that has an interesting history, or there's stories to be told there. That's the bit that I like the best, the actual story of how they got to be ghosts. Whether we see them or whether we don't, at least we're in the place where something amazing happened. But I think we can have things in our own homes, and I genuinely believe that there's stuff around us most of the time. And if it chooses to show itself, or to make a noise, or to do something peculiar, we then jump and get a shock, not expecting it on our own turf. But it doesn't surprise me that first of all, you're looking for stuff outside the house, so it's inevitable that sooner or later you're going to spot something, because you're open to it. You're going to see something in your own home maybe too. So it doesn't surprise me too much.
I think the girlfriend would like a word with you, because she's biting me leg at the moment.
That's all right. Stick around, man. No worries. Good talking to you. Thanks for coming on.
Hello.
Hello, Cresta. What a great name.
Hiya. Oh, thank you. For a great person.
Love it. Do you have your own toothpaste range?
No, but I do have pop.
Oh, Cresta. It's frothy, man. I remember Cresta. Brilliant. So what can we do for you, Cresta?
Well, the first annoying noise I was going to answer you with, you know when you hear boy racers going up and down with them stupid exhaust?
Yes. Well, it's not really an exhaust, is it?
They are the most annoying noise I have ever heard.
Yeah. Cheapers. What's that about?
They must go through some bloody petrol. I'll tell you, but as my partner was saying, we do a lot of ghost hunting ourselves.
Sure.
But we go to like the English Heritage and the National Trust places.
Right. Good.
We do all them as well. But I said to my partner, I said I would like to go on on a hunt with you.
Yeah, I'd love it. Absolutely. Well, we're going to be doing that soon. So we're always going to be looking for volunteers. So if you want to drop us a line and tell us the reasons why you particularly would like to go, mind you, you'd be selected at random and you'd be on your own. We're not taking groups, we're taking individuals.
That's fine. I prefer to be on my own, actually, because you're more likely to get something.
That is my belief too, absolutely. So, and anyway, just to get away from him, really, isn't it, Krista?
Well, yeah. Any excuse is better than none, I suppose.
But you know, when those photographs were taken and there was mist and strange figures behind you, were you aware of anything different at the time?
No, you see, I was there with my spirit box, and I was actually more or less provoking, really, to try and get a reaction or get something.
Yes.
And obviously, Steve is actually taking the photos as I'm doing this, because I'm using a spirit box.
Yeah.
And obviously I'm recording it as well. And he's taking photos. But it's in an abandoned cemetery, which I can't say on the phone because obviously it gets vandalised a lot. So I tend not to let people know where the location is.
Gotcha. But I mean, it was amazing what he caught, because those photographs, especially if you don't see them at the time, what a shock you must have got when you got home and had a look at them.
I have one more, but it's one more that you wouldn't believe it was taken. You'd say you faked that, and don't show anybody that photo because it's too unbelievable. So I would never show anybody.
What is it then?
No, it is an actual. Have you ever seen the Walking Dead?
Yes.
How they look. Well, that is how it looked on the photo when we come away from the cemetery. We looked at the photo, and I'll tell you what, the cold shiver that ran down my spine when I seen that photo. I said, you can't show anybody that. It's too unbelievable. You say that's fake. And I just say, no, just put it on the laptop and leave it there.
Do you not want to send it to me, and I'll show everybody, and I'll take the flak for it?
Well, you can take the flak for it. I'll get Steve to send it you if you want.
Well, I'd just love to have a look at it, because if it's that vivid, and I've got no reason to doubt you, so let's have a look.
It really is. I mean, I will get Steve to send it to you, and you can have a look.
Great.
By all
Bless
means.
you. Thank you very much. I'll not put it out anywhere if you don't want me to, but I'd love to have a look at it. Thank you for that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
Right.
not a problem.
Champion Cressa. Anything else while you're on?
No, I just think I've covered everything. Oh, by the way, I have got all the gear if you do decide you want to select me on one of your nights.
Let me loose. Absolutely. Cressa, make sure you drop a little line in when you send the picture, okay?
I will do. Thanks a lot, Alan.
Top job. Thanks for coming on. There you go. Well, we're recruiting, and the more of you we get, the more places we'll have to go. That's the thing. So spread the word. Now, last week we talked to Lewis in Annan, and blimey, he's come back. Hi, Lewis.
Hi. I must just enjoy this so much that I've just come back.
Hey. So, what you on about tonight then?
Well, the first point was about the noises. And I used to do craft and design at school, and wasn't very good at it. You know, doing it with no sight was a challenge.
Sure.
You always had to have a support worker with you, but one of the things I always hated was, you know, when you were like cutting the wood or you were using the machinery, and you always had that.
Oh, like a drilling noise.
Aye. Oh, I hated that.
Yeah, it's not a good noise.
Oh, it really grated on me so much. It was. It's just awful.
It's not great. And the funny thing is, I don't mind a soy noise. You know the sound of wood. I don't mind that because it comes with a nice smell. Because you get that proper wood kind of smell going. So don't mind that. But the drilly noise, never a good thing.
No,
never a good thing.
Right. Never liked it. So it just makes me think. I don't know if it's partly because of my slightly heightened senses, but it just it's just horrible.
Yeah, live without that comfortably.
The other one being the dentist drill as well.
It's drills again with you, absolutely.
Yeah, everything drilly. Or the other one, probably a classic one, is when someone's rubbing their finger down a balloon, you know.
Right. Again, something that I've never minded, but I know an awful lot of people, it sets their teeth on edge, that whole thing. So I get it. Okay.
Big style.
You wanted to talk about football a bit as well, I gather. What was that about?
Yeah. Now, I am a Rangers fan.
Right.
And I was delighted that, you know, we...
Congratulations. A whole season unbeaten, is that right?
Yeah, incredibly. In the league, I mean, nobody thought after Celtic did it 5 years ago that it would happen again so soon, but that was great.
Yeah.
However, I'm disgusted actually with a minority of the fans. I don't know if you saw what happened
I did.
in Glasgow.
They went ridiculously too far.
Yeah, I mean, AM1, Glasgow is in a situation right now where the cases are high. This Indian variant's causing concern. There's 2 areas in Scotland, Glasgow and Murray. Glasgow's one of them. Now, so to be gathering, I think, is wrong. I kind of understand why they did it. But, I mean, I just celebrated in the house with a couple of drinks. But I think once it comes to the stage of setting off flares and fireworks, you've got young people, you know, children who could be at risk. You've got police, you know, they were setting them off right in front of police. You had actually fans attacking fellow fans.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Let's celebrate by beating each other up, and you think, what idiots. Mind you, I do understand, and if you think of where your mobs come from, think Rangers, wasn't like 5 or 6 seasons ago, you were 3 or 4 leagues away from even standing a chance to do this. So it's really been Roy of the Rovers kind of stuff. Promotion. Then doing battle with the big boys again, winning, taking over the crown of Glasgow, which had been Celtics for all of those years. I mean, this is a major, major achievement. So if you've been one of those fans that stayed loyal while they were right down the bottom and rode that wave all the way up, I can understand you wanting a party and a Beano at the end of it. Just, there's ways and means to do it, and you don't need to hurt people to show how much you love your football team. And I've never understood that.
How do we tackle this? This is the problem. You know, I mean, even in and it's rife. I mean, even in one of my local pubs in Annan, the pub's Facebook page put up something today saying that flares had been let off in their beer garden, and they were asking for people, you know, if they had video evidence, or, you know, to either send it to them or to Police Scotland.
Right.
So it wasn't just in Glasgow, you know, it was
in the provinces as well, absolutely
widespread, and I just think, you know, by all means enjoy yourselves, but
don't put people's lives at risk. It's not worth it.
I think that's, and I'm actually quite, in some ways, I'm quite ashamed.
You should be saddened by it, because at a time when everybody should be, wow, look at us, look at what we've achieved as a group, because even though the fans weren't in there, it's their club. Everybody feels part of their team, and everybody should be feeling chuffed and super proud. And you don't want an excuse for people to say, but the Rangers fans are animals. Look at what they did to their own city centre. You know, there's no reason for that. And I've seen fans of every team, including all the northeastern teams, that have done stupid things too, because there is that. When you've got 50, 60,000 people who are crazy about a team, 5,000 of them are going to be crackers. You know, that's just, or more, but that's how it is. You're always going to get the radical, extreme, stupid, dopey lot that bring the good guys and the good ladies down. And that's what's happened in Glasgow, and it's a damn shame. Damn shame.
Yeah, it is a shame. I mean, as I said to you last week when I was on about the Manchester situation, and I said that I'd heard about a story in the Republic of Ireland when there was a game abandoned because of extremism. And you told me about something of a situation involving Rangers against Newcastle.
Newcastle, that's right. But we can't allow those kind of things to go. We can't allow the thugs to win in any shape or form. That's the thing. Anyway, Lewis, thank you very much. Great stuff again. Great to have you on. Thanks for calling. Take it easy. Bye-bye. What do you think about that? Glasgow, a wonderful city. And it's made so much progress over the years. I just hate to think it would backslide at any time. Let's talk to some superstar celebrity, because it's the Night Owls. Greatest Hits Radio, where the stars come out at night. This time, the band is Wet, Wet, Wet. The man is Marty Peller, and he's telling me all about Well, how everything started before Wet, Wet, Wet. I don't think you did any kind of stage work and acting and what have you. How did you just walk from there? Because it's one thing being able to put a song over. It's another thing doing the whole acting thing. And yet you just suddenly you're in something and off you go.
Well, I think that's the fear of the unknown and working with good people. And being able to put yourself on that line and listening, and hard work. Some people it comes extremely easy to, and people like me, I work hard at that, and putting yourself out there and trusting in yourself and most importantly listening.
Right.
And that's something that you can take into real life, not only on the stage. Being a good listener, hear what people saying and react to it. And I keep it on a very simple, fundamental level like that. It works for me. And because there's a connection there through the gift of music, it doesn't seem like a big transition for me.
You must have had one or two moments where it just didn't quite go right in the early days.
Oh, yeah, all the time. And that's the beauty of live theatre or live work in general. There's a lot of the times you're flying with the seat of your pants. When you find yourself saying, well, what is this next? What I'm supposed to be saying? What's going on here? And I think, you get those horrific moments and the audience sometimes catch you out with that, but they love that because they know that they're engaged in something that's happening right there and right now.
Yeah.
And hopefully will never happen again. And so they get to share that moment. And that's never a bad thing. And because people pay good money to come and see you in a show and they want to be entertained, so you've already got them on your side. Hopefully no one buys a ticket to come out and have a
So
You get that cold, eerie feeling up your back.
We
again,
do.
Don't you?
Can you go that way?
Yeah. This is where she was heard, wasn't it, down here?
Give me a shout if you see or feel anything. Helicopter. Look at that. That's the kind of thing that James Bond would have flown in. Little Nelly, I think he called it. Can't remember the film. Might have been Thunderball. Look at these amazing aeroplanes. We're being quiet so that you can tell us your story. This is the... Oh. Just getting a little bit of movement to my left. I'm also feeling slightly colder up here. But then again, I'm right beside a door that's got like a gap along the bottom. It's very mild out there. And it doesn't really help you when you come round a corner and you see him. Claude Allward Ridley, DSO MC, and his story for you to read about with this very plane right there. Some incredible stories if you're into your tales of daring do. Parts of bombs. Don't know whether you can make that out. They really have done an extraordinary version of this place. Just waiting for something, for someone. There are wreaths laid here. Did you hear that? It was behind you, Tony. Was that for our benefit? Is that for our benefit? Come on, it was behind us. Is that for our benefit? There are wreaths here paying tribute to the bravery of the people who flew in planes such as this, saved our country. See where the guns fired from. So come on. We want to hear from you. Go down and find Ken. See what he's up to. Come on. We're here for you. Prove yourselves. We believe in you. The people who live here believe in you. The people who work here believe in you too. So show yourselves. We want to hear from you. Come on. If you're the girl that was here, name's not Emily, is it? Emily? What, Ken? Sorry? There's what?
The weirdest thing. Right, just there was like a white, as if it was, do you know, like if you could like see underneath the whole hanger, like you could see light underneath. There was light there at the bottom of it, and just black shape above it. Just there, just literally
but
there.
There's nothing, you can't get underneath
No.
there.
But it was like, there was light at the bottom of it, definitely. You can feel the stuff here, man. It's freezing here. It's absolutely, isn't it?
It's cooler down here than it was up
Yeah,
there. I was told when we first started that the middle part
And
up
across there,
there.
you see shadows as well.
See again?
You see shadows across there, black shadows across there.
In the
You know
corner.
when we heard the noise of the girl
Yeah.
down there. But that was the weirdest thing. It was just there, literally just there.
Because you see, now that there's no light, or I can't see any light past Tony.
There's no light. It was like light.
Bizarre. Yeah, I saw that.
Did you see that?
Tony's actually pointing in that direction. If anybody at home caught something, just along this alley
moved,
here,
didn't it?
down the bottom. We talk about this darkness that moves down here.
It's that corner, isn't it, as well?
It was. You got to remember that while this was an airfield, and it covered all of the area that Nissan's on at the present moment, this was a full airfield. And we know that at least 24 planes crash landed on this site, and some people didn't make it. The vast majority of the pilots that died here are buried in Castletown Cemetery in Sunderland, except for one man who was never found. Now, his name was George Hamilton. He was a Canadian flyer. His ghost is said to be at the Lamella hangar in Nissan. However, he's supposed to walk here too. And George was taking off, and for some reason, one of the engines failed, and he couldn't lift the plane's nose up, and he ended up crashing into one of the hangars here. And he exploded because he had a full load of bombs on board. So that being the case, they said, well, where did they...
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. And let's dive straight into as many calls as we can get away with. I have to read a couple of quick texts and emails out. Timbo, been talking about lending money and whether you ever should. He says, Alan, I like to think of you as my friend. Lend us a tenner. I'll lend you Paul Potts. Paul Potts for about a fortnight, then you can bring him back. And also, this is much heavier. I'm not going to give a name. It says, this is a bit of an update. Years ago, I messaged Alan on Night Owls about the fact that I'd been sexually abused as a kid and am now gay. wondering if I was actually gay or just traumatized by men. Eventually, in late 2018, after realizing I was potentially facing my abuser at a family funeral because my uncle was diagnosed with terminal prostate cancer, I phoned the police and reported everything. It meant an initial interview with the police and then a follow-up with an officer that deals with child abuse. I made a 40-page statement taking over 4 hours. They tracked down the lad who did it, and he was brought in for an interview, and Noah commented on every single question. My uncle, on his deathbed, after denying any knowledge, brought the police back in and gave a full supporting statement in my favour. It finally went to the Crown Prosecution Service, and because I was so precise about when it happened, a week after my 10th birthday, it turned out the lad was 2 months shy of his 14th birthday, and the age of criminal liability was then 14, and they have to abide by the law as it was then. The police told me they fully believe me, and he is a horrible person, but at least throughout this process I've had some great counselling and finally been able to deal with the things and put it behind me. Obviously I want to remain anonymous, I don't want to speak on the radio. I just thought I'd let Alan know what finally happened. And I love getting these kind of things. First of all, I think it's shameful that you can get away with it because you were born 2 months or 2 months early. I just think that if you commit that crime when you're 13 and a half, you still know what you're doing. You're not doing that kind of thing by accident. And the fact that it went on after they were 14 makes it even worse. So I have great sympathy with him because, okay, you made that guy wriggle quite justifiably. He should have been wriggling all his way into prison, though, in my opinion. But just the courage that people have to get over that kind of thing, I think, is absolutely immense. So total respect to you. Let's go and talk to Ian, who is in Stockton upon the Tees. Hello, Ian.
Hiya.
Hello, sir. What can we do for you tonight?
Right. I just want to talk back to 2005, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
Back then, I used to watch The Most Haunted, and I used to laugh at it. I thought it was bad actors in a comedy show. That's what I thought.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to laugh at it. And when they went to Pendle Hill,
right,
and after they went to Pendle Hill, I'm going to try this out. So I drove all the way over to Lancashire, and I went to Tynedale Farm. I found it, found it fairly easy.
Right.
And I went to the Tynedale Farm, and I found it so easy access.
Right.
It was derelict, and it was like the front door, you just have to shove it, and it just opened.
Right.
Right. I didn't have any specialist equipment or nothing with me. All I had was a paraffin lamp, a torch, my sleeping bag. I thought, right, I'm going to stay the night.
Good man.
On my own. I was all on my own.
Right.
And I thought, I'll stay the night. And, I never believed in anything like that. A few things happened. And I always put it down to, like a gust of wind or something. A door open, a window open.
Right.
Things like that, I just didn't believe in things like that at the time.
Okay.
But anyway, I planned to stay the whole night. And within 2 hours, I was out of that place.
Why? What happened? Talk me through it.
First of all, I started getting a really bad headache.
Right.
And I thought, as I drive over to Lancashire, it's like, it affected my head, so I got a bad headache. Then I started feeling sick. Very nauseous,
Right.
And then after a while, we just saw it felt like somebody was choking me.
Oh, whoa.
It felt like something was around my neck, tightening.
Right.
And I just, after the second hour, I just got all my things together and...
Got the hell out.
Got the hell out, yeah. And my car was parked up No, you had to go along this long pathway.
I've been to the farm. We were there about 3 years before most started doing stuff.
Yeah.
And we went back, I think, in about 2011 to do the museum, talk to historians about it, do the hill, and we visited the farm again. So I know exactly where you mean. It's just interesting because you went there, I suppose, because not believing the show, thinking, well, I'll go there and I'll show them, because if you'd gone there and nothing had happened, it would have reinforced everything that you believed. But some places are genuinely stained with things. The thing about you feeling nauseous and whatever, that's kind of common in places like that.
That wasn't all. By the time I got my car, I felt me side of my neck was like stinging.
Right.
And it was like, I touched it and I just thought, oh, that's sore.
Right.
I got in the car and looked in the mirror and looked at my neck, and it was like a deep scratch on my neck.
How about that?
You know, I didn't feel it when it happened. It was on the way back to the car when I felt, you know, it's like it was sore.
Right.
And when I looked at my neck in the mirror, in the rear view mirror, I've seen this like a scratch right across my neck.
But you've got to also remember, just to chuck in for good measure, the Pendle witches were hanged. They weren't burned.
I know.
They were hanged. So to get pain in your neck and feel like you're choking, that's pretty good result, you not think?
Yeah, well, James I, he had a thing about witches, and you know, he wanted to get rid of all the witches in the country. And in Lancashire, there was a guy called, I think his name was John Noakes, was it?
Well, the main witch finder was Matthew Hopkins.
Yeah, I know, but he's the sheriff in Lancashire.
All right, I don't know the name of the sheriff.
I think his name was John Noakes or something like that.
Right.
But anyway, he went round, and because there was like the Demdikes,
yes,
the Nutters. I mean, I'm not calling the Demdikes Nutters, you know.
No, the Nutters were a family too.
Yeah. And across the valley, the rivals were the Chattocks. And anyway, the sheriff had rounded them all up. No, but there was something went on about a little girl. At the beginning of it, but before they were all arrested, she was walking along a path or something, and she was hungry, and she stopped this old man and asked for some bread or something. And anyway, he sort of like it was very nasty towards her and everything. And she was walking, anyway, carried on walking, and then he had collapsed and died.
Right.
And the sheriff had heard about what happened to this old man. So went and arrested the little girl, and the little girl is related to, I think it's the Demdikes.
Right.
I think she was the daughter. And then the little girl had confessed over the whole family.
Right.
Saying that the whole family is into witchcraft and everything else.
Yeah.
So they went out and arrested everybody. And they were all hung in Lancaster jail or something.
That's right.
Yeah.
But you've got to remember that when you say, and it sounds, oh, well, why would a little girl tell those kind of lies? You've got to remember what they were doing to the little girl at the time they were asking the questions. They weren't just sitting there, you know, giving her a lollipop and saying, do tell me about your family. They were doing horrific things to the child because they tortured the confessions out of people at that time because they were following on from a book that was released called the Malleus Maleficarum, which was the book that led to everybody having the ability to torture anybody they considered to be a heretic. And it went right the way across Europe. Like you've heard of the French Inquisition. Well, there was a French Inquisition, an Italian, a Dutch, a German. All the European countries had them. In Britain, were told you've got to go out there and get rid of all of these people that are causing problems. They're not believing in God. They're heretics. They're heathens. End them. Just end them. And end them they did. We talk about religious intolerance, but you don't expect that from people. And again, with every respect to whatever your faith is, but you don't expect Christians to say they don't believe what we believe. Just kill them then. But that's what happened, and it's a shameful time in our history.
Yeah, when I got home after Tandale Farm, and I got home, I started looking on the internet about all the background of everything,
right,
and learning from it, and I'm still learning now.
Absolutely,
and I'm talking back to 2005.
Yeah, but do you not think that one of the cooler things about that whole part of the world, and it was something that I didn't expect the first time that I went, I was driving down a road heading towards Pendleton. I still had probably about 5 or 6 miles to go, and pretty much every second or third house that I drove past had a little witch on the side of it.
That's right. There's a village. There's a village. I think it was a Summit Church.
That's right. Yes.
Near it, and there's like all these witches and things on the houses.
And there's one farmhouse that instead of having a north, south, east, and west like church weather vane, it's got a witch on a broomstick that spins around.
Seen that.
Fabulous.
Yeah, I saw that.
Fantastic. But I think if you're gonna have a history like that draws people from across the world, let everybody get involved in it, because it just makes the place totally more atmospheric, I think. But
it's part of history.
It is, absolutely. And I mean, it's not Henry VIII's 6 wives. It's a darker kind of history, but it's still where we came from. We're all still part of that, for sure. Hey, that's good stuff. Thank you, Ian. Anything else while you're on?
No, that's fine, thanks.
Good man. Good talking to you. There you go. Have you visited Pendle Hill and the surrounding Habnabs? Jack from Newcastle is up next. Hello, Jack.
Hello.
Evening, sir. What can we do for you?
We'll start off with the noises. The most annoying one for me, I think obviously where I live in Newburn.
Right.
That's steeped in history, I don't know if you know much about Newburn, but there's plenty going on down there. It's foxes when it's when they come out like late at night and start like screeching.
It does sound like some woman is being skewered to death, doesn't it? It's a unique the fox late at night noise. First of all, if you said, "Oh, there's a fox" to somebody, they'd look at you and say, "That's not a fox," but it's a weird noise, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, well, I've sat like I don't know, like if you remember mentioning, I've caught them on my CCTV camera and stuff, and it just sounds horrific. It sounds mad.
Yeah, it does. It's murderous.
That's definitely one. And just to go on, like I've got like out the back of mine, there's like a graveyard. I've got a graveyard out the back, So
right, perfect.
To be fair, but I'd never hear anything like apart from the animals coming out the graveyard,
Right. Have you ever just sat and watched out your back window and just watched to see if you can see something?
Yeah, sometimes. I mean,
right, but you've never caught a glimpse of anything.
Never caught. Now, I mean, you hear owls.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, so sometimes you just get like that sort of
just a hoot rather than a scream.
Yeah, foxes and owls. It's to do with like a sort of paranormal activity like going on inside your home. I was lying in bed one night and it was dead weird. What it was the lid of the laundry basket, and it went. I mean, like literally went flying across the room, just like by itself.
Whoa! Right. How smelly must your underwear be?
I couldn't believe it. It was an unusual occasion because the washing basket was actually empty,
Oh well, there you go. You can't blame that then. But what a strange thing to shift though.
Yeah, just the lid, like just literally just. I'm lying in bed, it's dark in the room, and like I'm just like asleep, and I just see it just bump, the lid just comes flying off, and it was sort of like around the time when like certain people had passed away, like in my lives and stuff.
Oh, right.
So I just like kind of jumped up out of bed and just like said all their names. And I says, if there's any of yous, you know, it's not time to play. And like one of the places where I work, that's like quite an old building, a Victorian building, you know.
Right.
And I think that's like got obviously history and stuff. And I do think that place is like, you know, you get feelings, you see things there, you see bloody. You think it's your colleague, you look over your shoulder and it's nobody there. You're just like, I'm thinking, hang on, I just definitely did see somebody go past us, you know.
But how are you coping at home? Because if you've had an experience like that, and you see, my rationale has always been, and it every time we go out looking, we always say discount 95%, look for the 5% that there's no other possible explanation for. And sometimes you get stuff that, wow, what the hell was that? And on other occasions, you get a laundry basket thing just flying across the room, because that has to be in that 5%, because you didn't do it and there was nobody else in the house.
No, that was it. Just like literally by myself, lying in bed, and just like the lid just comes flying off and goes flying across the room. I'm just like,
yeah,
that's got to be, you know.
Yeah, they can't. I can't see a logical explanation. I mean, there may be one, but I can't see it unless you had somebody else in the house with a fishing rod and a bit of line, giving it a jerk. But it's unlikely, is the thing. It's
yeah, exactly. You know, especially not when you're buying. When you're by yourself, you know you're by yourself.
You know you're by yourself. Absolutely. Hey, good stuff. Anything else then, Jack?
Yeah, I've got a few recommendations as well.
Do please.
It's for the this UK column news. I don't know if you've heard of them.
I haven't.
So it was just to recommend them. See if you can get like an interview in with them. UK column news. If you want to check them out, they're good guys on there.
I will.
They talk about a lot of stuff, and then a couple of different sort of social media pages or YouTube pages for people to do with ghosts, and you know, check it out for yourself. There's one called Slapped Ham.
Right.
That's like an Australian guy. Or he might not be. He might be.
Is he the one that does like ghost pictures sometimes and says, "Have a look at this. This happened in such and such a place."
Yeah.
I think I've seen him. Yeah.
Yeah, Slapped Ham. And then there's a guy called Dylan is Chillin'.
Right.
He does like loads of ghost videos and stuff as well. You know.
Cool. Okay.
So yeah, just sort of put out there.
Spread the word. Why not?
And one other one for these people who've had like these horrific things in their lives to do with abuse and stuff. There's a group out there called United Survivors.
Right. I know them.
I don't know if you've heard of them.
We've had them on the show before. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So
they're good.
Yeah. So there's that group out there as well. You know, just
lovely.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Hey, great stuff. Thanks for coming on, man. All the best.
Right. Cheers, mate. Chip.
Oh, and there you go. How about that? Ghost noises we mentioned before. Pauline here says, have you got any? Well, funnily enough, I can share a quick one with you.
The tape recorder was running in an empty room.
The tape recorder was running in an empty room.
And this is the noise. Click it on, Joe.
Yeah, can you put it on? Right here.
Here's the noise.
Hang on now.
Well, I think that's enough, Joe, frankly. Wow. Can you hear that?
That's about it on that one. Now, there's stuff further on the tape, of course.
Right, well...
Now, when you pick it up,
yeah.
On the other recorder we've got, you can hear other sounds as well.
Oh, the sounds like what, Joe?
People talking. Voices in the background, you see.
Right, so, what have you caught? Have you caught voices? Have you caught pictures? Do share. But it's time for another star to pop out at night. And this time it's Ricky Ross from Deacon Blue. We like Deacon Blue. Let's see whether he's had a shock or a scare in his time. Anything that really frightens you? What are you scared of, Ricky?
Yeah. Although, I mean, I tell you what, we don't really tour international. And the older I get, the less comfortable I get with... last week I was taking a flight to London and it got delayed on the way back. And I just really, really hate being in airports now. And I think I'm someone who, if I could somehow manage to do all that touring, but without having to do any of that stuff, I would like it. It's a waste an awful lot of time, and it's kind of time you feel you'll never get back. And I used to spend an awful lot of time doing promotion back and forward to London, living in Glasgow, and looking out the airplane in the summer, looking down at people kind of walking and playing golf and doing things, and thinking, oh, wish I was down there doing that. So that side of things, I don't like too much of, but certainly seeing nice places and being nice places is always lovely when you get there.
Wartime stories that I'll share with you over the course. But the people at Nissan are worth talking to about ghosts because they've seen George Hamilton, 6'1", dark eyes, little bit of a mustache, and they see him in a flying suit with a mask, with a face mask, carrying goggles. And they've seen him a couple of times. The dogs won't go into certain areas of Nissan. But there's a lot of spirit here, no question about it. You can absolutely feel it. I think we will do that, absolutely. Let's go and find a place to do it. I think this. Oh, of course, there's the airplane seats. That sounds like a plan. Let's do that then. Don't want to be beheaded. Right. Oh, narrow. I don't know what year this was from, but I wouldn't want to do this to Tenerife. That's for sure. Right. Let's see what we can see. Bear with me, just sorting out our necromancer. See if we get anything. It's about time. It's been very quiet in here so far, and it's the last thing that we expect. Because so far, we've had an awful lot before we started. Come on then. Are you a pilot? Are you a pilot? Is your spirit here? Are you the girl that we saw before, that we heard? You made us hear you. Did you die on this ground? Were you a victim of Edward Bowker? Do you know his name? Yes. Swine. Did you hear that? Swine? Yes, swine. Did he hurt you? Did he put you in a box? Yes. That sounded like Bowker. We're all dead. Hells bells, this is creepy. You're all dead because of Bowker. Yes. How did he take your life? How did he kill you? Disemboweled. Disemboweled? What? Disemboweled. Dead? Help.
Warning.
Yeah.
Warning.
Yeah. Absolutely. Come on, now's your opportunity. You could tell us.
Did you get that noise? Yeah. I heard that.
Hang on, we're just going to stop temporarily because there's a bang. Did you catch it?
I haven't have a mic, so I'm not sure if it picked up. It was like a tin bang, wasn't it?
Let's head in that direction. A tin bang. Hang on, I'm going to leave this on. It might guide us. Come on. We heard a noise. I'll stick close to you, Tony, so if there's any noise, people will hear it. It's this area especially.
Everything happens apparently.
So it's going to happen for us. Oh, do you hear that? Bowker can't hurt you now. You're safe. Just heard a whisper. Kisses. Kisses. Yes, he's a swine. Yes, he's a swine. Are you there, Bowker? They hanged you. For those of you who heard, that must give you pleasure. Come on. If you're here, I don't just want to hear you, I want to see you too. Come on. Don't frustrate us tonight. Don't frustrate us tonight. Come on. Yeah. Come on. We're here for your noise, for whatever you have to say. For those of you who are victims of Bowker, are you trapped here? Are you trapped here? Just being called illegitimate again. That's happened before. Come on. Is there anyone who died in an aircraft here? No. What about the young lady who was murdered? Are you there? Ooh. Is the man who killed you here? How come when we were in here, we just popped in here before, just have a walk through, and we got all kinds of stuff? I'm not getting anything at the minute. Come on. Come on. Come on. Give us something. We've come all this way just for you. Come on. Come on. Tell me about Bowker. When I mentioned him before, you had issue with me. Tell me about Bowker. Tell me about Bowker. Just said Bowker. Did you hear it? She just said Bowker. Come on. Come on. If we are getting close to you, speak to us. If we're getting near to you, come on. Yeah, I know. I'm going to go back down the bottom end because I think we had more joy down there. But if anybody sees anything at home, and don't forget, please share this. We don't know what it is in comparison, isn't it? Put the necromancer away for now. Getting colder the more you come down here. It's colder. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
It's touched my hand.
Really?
And in North London, after video footage appeared to show them shouting anti-Semitic
Kelly's just been
slurs,
touched.
Housing
That is
Secretary
weird.
Robert Jenrick
I've
says
never
the
had that.
incidents
It
are
was touching my
completely
hand.
unacceptable.
Whatever your view
Was it
is
heavy?
on the conflict
No,
in Israel
really.
and Gaza right now, there is
From
no
below or
excuse
from above?
whatsoever
Just from
for the
on the top of the
disgusting
boat, just there.
scenes of anti-Semitism that we've witnessed. These scenes must not be repeated, and we'll do everything we can to protect Jewish people across the country.
The parents of a little boy who died this morning after a suspected gas explosion in Lancashire have paid tribute to their beautiful little angel. The blast in Heysham caused 2 houses to collapse and damaged several others. Goalkeeper Alisson scored an injury-time winner for Liverpool as they claimed a valuable 2-1 victory at West Brom. Elsewhere, Tottenham beat Wolves 2-0 and Everton suffered a 1-0 defeat to Sheffield United. And Chelsea have suffered a 4-0 defeat to Barcelona in the Women's Champions League final. From Sky News, I'm Kat Suave.
Thank you, Kat. Let us dive back into whatever Night Owls is. And tonight, we got a whole batch of superstars that popped out late at night, kicking off with Kelly and Carlisle. But I've got to give you a second clue first to win our tremendous Night Owls mug. Clue number 1 is what gropers, molesters and flashers get charged with. The answer is the name of a song. Okay, every answer is the name of a song. You got to tell me who or what links all of the songs together. Clue number 1, what gropers, molesters and flashers get charged with. Second clue, a bloke who only ever has sex in the usual way, in the traditional way, okay? A bloke who only ever has sex the traditional way. And the answer is the name of a song. 2 clues down, 2 more clues to come. Yeah, you've only got to get one answer right, maybe, and you can have a guess at this. But can you work them out? How well do you know your greatest hits? That's the thing. Let's go to Carlisle. Love Carlisle. Kelly's there already. Hi, Kelly.
Hi, are you all right?
I'm very well. Thank you for joining us. What you want to talk about tonight?
Just the most annoying sound is when people eating crisps. You know, the way they crunch.
Yeah, and they've started putting them in subways. What's that all about?
Oh, I don't know. I never heard about that.
No, now you can go in and you can either have with crisps, you know, you have put your salad on and your whatever meat you want. Then they can put a layer of crisps in there for it as well to give it a bit of... Now, as far as I'm concerned, if you get fresh bread, your bread should be the crunch, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
You don't need to, to put crisps in there as well. Although I do like a crisp sandwich, it has to be said. But,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but the noise of them, and the thing that I've noticed is, some of the big bags of crisps you get, not the little piddlers, they're about £1 or £1 for the big sucker.
Oh, yeah.
Sensations, and what's the other one? There's a few. Marks and Spencers do them if you're posh. First of all, for whatever reason, they've made the packet so that you can hear it at the other end of the street. I've opened it, hands going in, and that's before you start eating.
Yeah.
Hell's bells. I had somebody eating out of a bag of those crisps once when I went to the pictures. And it was, you're waiting to hear what the actors on screen are saying, and all you...
Yeah.
It's like a lion chowing on a bone or something.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. What else then, Kelly?
And another one is, well, it's about a ghost, actually.
Oh.
You heard a place called Barden Mill?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, me and my mum used to live there.
Right.
And it was Christmas, and I think it was 2014.
Right.
And we were coming back past through Milkridge and that.
Mm-hmm.
We took the dog to the vet.
Right.
And anyways, we were just driving to go home. And we seen this person standing at the side of the road. And we just thought, me and my mum both looked at each other thinking, well, I wonder why they were standing there for. And we turned round and they disappeared.
Oh.
And apparently it was a young lad who used to be a miner there. And and it was his birthday because we got told near the birthdays they like to show people that they're around.
I would imagine you probably drove home a bit quicker than you would have done.
Yeah, well, my mum did.
I bet.
But it was just really weird.
Was it solid? Did it look like a proper solid
like
person?
Yeah.
Wow.
He had like the old miner hats with the candles used to be on it.
Right.
And the old rope belt.
Blimey, you could make out a lot of detail on this guy.
Oh,
as well.
you could. He was sitting there having a fag. And it was just, he was like, 1 minute he was there, and then we sort of like looked and he was gone.
Boom.
Because we're like, Borden Mill used to be like an old miner village.
Yeah. How did you find the story about him? Because presumably you told somebody and they went, oh, did you not realise?
There's a lady who lives in Borden Mill, and she was telling me about, it was a young miner and it was his birthday. And he had a few drinks with that and he got hit.
Oh, he got knocked down there.
Yeah.
Right. So he's still by the side of the road.
Yeah.
Because we keep mentioning the Spine Road that's on the east coast, not the west coast. There's a Spine Road that goes up towards Ashington and beyond.
Yeah.
And it's a longish road. And there's been about 9 or 10 fatalities on the road. And people keep seeing figures by the side of the road. You know, the ones that have been hit that are still think they're travelling, you know.
Yeah, they say when a person dies in that certain place, the state, like, they haunt that place.
That seems to be certainly it's the case up there. And on seeing this, I know for a fact there'll be somebody driving on that road right now that's instantly just slowed down and their eyes have opened a bit wide and going, hang on, is there anything here tonight?
Like, me and my mum used to go to Bard Mill to see my granddad. And even though we've only seen that miner once, we still look at the same place just to see if we can see him again.
Brilliant. Hey, what a great memory, though. And the fact that you saw a ghost as clearly as that's fantastic.
I know, it was quite a shock seeing him, like a full figure of a man.
Yeah, absolutely. Tremendous. Anything else then, Kel?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Lovely stuff. Thanks for coming on. Wasn't she great? There you go. Full-bodied apparition. How about that? Trevor's with us in Gateshead. Hello, Trevor.
Hello, mate. All right?
I'm champion. Thank you very much for calling in. What you want about tonight, then?
Right, I'm talking about Newcastle. I'm talking about COVID after that, right?
Okay.
Right. This takeover's not going to happen, like, is it?
Is it? Well, I don't know. They're still making all the noises.
It's been going to happen for a year and a half now, hasn't it?
Yeah, but the Premier League got stuck in and some of the other big clubs kind of put the lid on it, but he's gone to court and he's won. So surely then they have to open the doors and say, we were wrong in doing what we did. Let's get moving with it.
Well, I hope so, mate. I hope so. But that's why the big clubs are like stamping their feet doing, because they didn't want to see us do well. I didn't think, like.
Well, no, because if you think about it, and I suppose the people we're talking about are the ones that have got multi-millionaire backers like Manchester City, Man United, Chelsea. They're in a position where they're guaranteed top 7 every season, you would think.
Yeah.
And they don't want somebody else coming in there because that could make them top 8 or top 9, pushing them down if there's somebody with more money than them in the field. But hey, if other clubs can do it, why not Newcastle United?
They should have a points deduction to start next season and anyways, mate, for trying to break away from the Premier League, man, shouldn't it?
Well, yeah, well, maybe. I mean, was Newcastle... I didn't think that Newcastle was one of the clubs that was invited.
No, I didn't think it was, mate.
For the Super League, so...
It wasn't.
So, no, I think if there's going to be a price reduction, first of all, you got to remember that the club hasn't had half as much money as they normally would get because there's been no fans. So, they're still playing catch-up, and you still want the club to be able to buy players. So I understand why they would come back and the price quite possibly could go up, not go down, just because they want to play catch-up. In the same way that shops that have been closed all year, they're trying to put a bit of money in the till because they haven't had any for the longest time. I kind of get that, but when you say that, we're talking about a multi-million-pound business that has just been told they're getting, I think, is it 198 or 112 million from the Premier League? So it's not like they're poor. We're talking. I mean, we're poor. They're not poor, so we shouldn't really weep for them not getting that kind of cash in their pocket.
Well, that's it. Another one. I see Jewish videos sniffing around Alison Maximum as well.
Yeah, and I heard Roma was looking for wanting to buy him as well. I don't know whether that's true, but there's a whisper going around that Roma want to buy him.
Well, the way that's Mourinho's Roma's new manager, isn't he?
That's right.
Aye. So he can keep his hands off, like.
Well, I mean, I think every single person on Tyneside knows that St Maximum is the catalyst. He's the heart of the team, isn't he? He is at the moment, and we should have half a dozen like him, because at least he runs at them. He takes people on, and the one thing that a lot of teams, especially Newcastle, in the early part of the season, the thing they were best at was passing backwards, and the goal's the other way. So it's just good to see somebody running at them. And that's it. In fairness, Joe Linton kicked the ball probably harder than anybody I've ever seen over the last week or so. So
he put that in the back of the net, didn't he?
There was nobody going to stop that sucker, no, for sure. So at least there's a little bit. We still lost the football match. But it's good to see a local side having a right go at them.
There was some passion there, wasn't there? You know what I mean?
There was.
Why can't we do that every game, man? You know.
And that's always the problem. And we've said it with teams like Sunderland in the past and Middlesbrough, that they get to a particular stage, and they should be sweating blood to wear the shirt.
Definitely.
And
Definitely.
And if the person isn't, or they're just there for their paycheck, we shouldn't have them.
Well, that's it, mate. It's bang on that, like,
Yeah. Hey.
I mean, I didn't like Steve Bushin out. I think about him, didn't you?
I do. But you can't argue he's got them running.
No. But what I'm gonna say is, like, he's talking about, if he's still there next season, he's got to like build a team around St Maximum, Almiron, Shelby, Dubravka. That's a good thing. It's positive, but I just hope he gets the backing of that horrible man.
Yeah, but hey, just think about it for a second. We're talking about a possible takeover, and they're saying if the takeover happens, it's likely going to be in the close season. Do you think if the people behind it put in 200 million or whatever, however much they're planning to pour into the club, do you think they're going to say, with Steve, you can stay on as manager? It seems unlikely to me.
No, definitely not. I totally agree, mate.
I don't know who they'll get, but it'll be a high profile.
Yeah, definitely, because you'll attract people then, won't you? You know what I mean?
I do think there's an awful lot of people that would be quite happy if Rafa turned around and said, I'll come back.
See, I would love Rafa to come back. I didn't like the way he turned his back on work, but I can understand where he was coming from because of the fat man, you know.
Right.
But I would love Rafa back. I would. You know, everything would be forgotten because, I would send we in the right direction, I think. Like.
Okay, tell me about COVID. You said you wanted to talk about COVID briefly as well. What's that about?
This new Indian variant,
Right.
The government's worried about it and everybody will be worried about it, So why are they letting people, like, as of now, because it's 12 o'clock, after 12 o'clock at night, some bars are open on to now, you know.
Right, we heard at 12 o'clock, 1 minute past 12, they were opening up things.
You know what I mean, mate? And you're allowed to drink inside now. Well, if this Indian variant's as bad as what they're saying and that, what's the point in doing that when everything's been locked down or everything's been, like, eating and drinking outside? Just doesn't make sense. It just totally contradict ourselves, doesn't it?
Well, mind you, the one thing that I will say is one of the government officials, the guy that's behind it all,
Chris Whitty.
No, the other one, the spokesperson, not the medic, the minister. He has come out today and what he said was that he has absolute confidence that 99% 90% of the damage done by the new Indian variant will be cancelled out by the vaccines. The vaccines apparently, if he's telling the truth, the vaccines work on the new Indian variant, apparently. So if everybody still gets their jucking, if they get their injections, their vaccine, apparently the Indian variant will not be a problem for them. So whether that's true, we'll find out in the fullness of time, because there's an awful lot I haven't believed throughout all of this, but you go along with everything that they tell you to do to keep everybody safe.
Didn't get us wrong, Alan. I mean, I'm worried about it, and
sure.
I think there is something out there,
right?
But there'll be people on here who didn't agree with me, but I didn't want the job, mate.
You don't want it, right?
No, I didn't want it.
Even if you're more at risk for this other variant that's around.
I've got asthma, mate.
Oh, well, there.
And I still didn't want it. I didn't know. I can't explain to you why I don't want it, but I just.
If your gut tells you, then you go with your gut. And
exactly,
I hear that.
Exactly.
And you should have an absolute human right to either have it or not have it. So have you said to them, I don't want it?
No, I've been invited twice, mate.
But you just haven't gone.
Yeah, I just haven't gone.
Right. Okay. Well, they're not going to follow.
You've got the human right to say yes or no, haven't you, Alan?
Absolutely, but I don't think they're going to, follow you and rugby tackle you outside of Tesco's or anything. I don't think that's going to happen. No, but people will put pressure on, because the way they look at it is, the more people that get vaccinated, the less chance anybody has of spreading it. I see that. And the fewer people they've got that can catch it. So, hey, do what you feel is right.
You don't know even if you've had the job, if this Indian variant's going to cancel it out.
Yeah.
Like you just said, you know what
well,
I mean?
you don't know. You just got one person's word.
It's a big mystery, isn't it?
Well, right from the very beginning, it's always going to boil down to, what do you feel that you want to do? Now, if you listen to the people that demand that you get the vaccination, they will say, you're putting your life and the life of all of the people that you love at risk. That's what they'll say. And you will argue back, it's my personal choice, it's my personal freedom, it's the freedom our forefathers fought for, and I'm choosing not to have it, full stop. And you see, the problem is, people they want you on their side, whatever their side is, whether they're for it or whether they're against it. The right way to be is in the middle, where you can see both sides, respect them both for their point of view, and go canny and play nice. But a lot of people are not playing nice, and they're causing more trouble than they're worth, frankly, these people.
Yeah. I mean, like you say, the people who didn't want it, you'll get called... You'll get called selfish, you'll get called a knobhead, won't you? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you see, but the people who don't want it also call everybody that's had it the same word.
You're a sheep.
Absolutely. So you cannot win. You're always going to get slagged off by somebody. So do what you think is best for you and yours. That's the bottom line.
Well, that's it, mate. And
you do. Hey, good talking to you, Trev. Thanks for coming on.
Take care.
All of us. Bye-bye. I know a lot of people that have been intimidated to get it, and other people intimidated to be told not to get it. Well, the truth is, follow your gut. Follow what you think is right and do what you think is right. And you talk about the sheep thing. Some sheep follow people who don't want the jabs. For whatever reason, their friends don't want the jabs. Think for yourself. This kind of stuff's too important, and think what you're going to do carefully about it, and make your choice, and then live by it. But don't slag other people off because they didn't make the choice that you wanted them to make. Right, we got Sheila now, who's in Warrington. Hello, Sheila.
Hello, Alan.
Hello, good to talk to you. What can we do for you tonight?
Well, I'm in the same sort of business that you are in, that I am a professional ghost hunter.
Right, oh, wonderful. Whereabouts are you? I know you're in Warrington. Is that the area you cover?
No, I've worked for a couple of commercial companies. I'm currently with the Scottish Ghost Company.
Right.
We're a new company, but I'm also, I run my own ghost walk at Speak Hall in Liverpool.
All right,
And I do ghost stories in the main hall. So
Very
I
nice,
thought
good.
you might like to hear a story that links something that unexpectedly happened on the ghost story nights that we actually found an answer to on one of the ghost walks.
Brilliant. So this is something that happened when you were giving your talk at Speak Hall.
Absolutely.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, so you've got to imagine this beautiful Tudor hall that's been decorated in Victorian times.
Mm-hmm.
The hall dates from 1530. It's got this massive fireplace. I'm standing in my costume as the lady in black in front of the fireplace.
All right.
The hall is lit with flickering candles. Everybody's listening. We have a lovely time. And people come up to me at the end and they say nice things or they share their experiences.
Right.
And one lady came up and said, when you were talking, she said, I saw the figure of a lady sitting in the ingle nook behind you.
The fireplace, right.
Yeah. The fireplace has an ingle nook either side.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, can you tell me if anybody in Victorian times committed suicide in this hall?
Wow.
And I said, no, we have fairly extensive records. And I said, well, I'll investigate. So we had an archivist on the property at that time, so I went and spoke to her. We went through the records. No record of a suicide in the hall.
Wow.
So we were a little bit puzzled. Who is this lady, respectably but not richly dressed, looking very, very disconsolate, very, very sad, very desperate? Well, the only conclusion we could come to, speaking to the archivist, was that there was a butler who, let's just say, got into criminal activities that involved young people and who was found out and went to jail.
Right.
Now, we never mention names in case of living descendants, okay?
Right. Yeah, yeah.
And he had a wife who was much younger than he was. And she returned to her own village. And not long afterwards, we know that she died. She dropped her married name. She was buried. On her tombstone, it has her maiden name.
Right.
So that part of the story, we thought that was a reasonable explanation.
Sure.
Which I'm sure you'll agree.
Works.
Well, when I started doing the ghost walks, after a couple of years, I decided we'd add a few little props just to make it a bit more interesting.
Yeah.
So a K2, I know you're not into equipment, but as I know the hall, I know where the electrical points are, I know the trigger points, so I know where not to put anything electrical.
Right.
Anything that's going to be set off accidentally or deliberately.
Right.
Mag lights. I don't know if you're familiar with those.
I am indeed, yes.
Okay, good. Mag lights. And we got into the Great Hall, and I put a mag light facing the ingle nook, and I used to give the K2 out to people. And several occasions, when I told the story of the sighting of the lady, the mag light lit up and K2 flashed.
Wow.
Well, at Christmas 2019, we had a very lively group. They were up for anything, and my goodness, the activity we had that night was phenomenal. And one lady said, I want to go and sit in the ingle nook. So I said, yeah, go for it. And as soon as she sat down, I started the story. The K2's lighting up to red, to red, to red. It was absolutely staggering. There is nothing electrical there that can set it off.
Right.
Well, somebody else, she said, I'll come out, somebody else can sit down. So one of the gentlemen, very, very bold, very masculine, I'll do this, I can sit there. I bet you know what's coming next. After 30 seconds, he shot out going, I'm not sitting in there anymore. There was somebody sitting next to me, and
Lovely.
I didn't like it.
Brilliant.
So that was a couple of stories. But I was interested in hearing one of your listeners earlier talking about the Pendle Witches.
Yes.
Now, that's not so far from me, and I've done, I would say a dozen events at Clitheroe Castle.
Right, that's nearby.
You know it?
Yes, I do, absolutely.
And it used to annoy me that the it as the Pendle Witch Castle, and as you know, it has absolutely
Nothing to do with it.
with the Pendle Witches.
No.
So we were very surprised one night to suddenly find we were getting stuff related to the Pendle Witches.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Why, after all those other nights, nothing? We didn't expect it. Why? At the coffee break, one of the ladies came up to me and said, I've got a confession to make. I said, really? She said, yes. And she was one of 3 young ladies who'd come together. She said, we're descended from Alice Nutter,
Oh, well, there you go.
one of the Pendle Witches.
Yeah.
And I said, that's why we're getting all the witch stuff.
Right.
We had that contact.
Yeah, absolutely. Fascinating. It's great. It's a huge source of interest for people. But I've been a historian for a number of years, became an exorcist in 2000, and since then it's opened my eyes to an awful lot that at first I had, because I was a skeptic. I started off a skeptic until I started seeing things. It's a fascinating world out there. And if you can separate the wheat from the chaff, I think that's probably the best way to put it.
Absolutely. Well, I do a lot of the history for the company I'm with.
Good.
And it's quite interesting. I don't know if you found this, but sometimes the locations themselves don't always get the history right.
No, absolutely. To be honest, I've found that more often. I've gone to places and I've done heavyweight research on them, and then you tell the person, but do you know about the Saxon cemetery you've got in your back? And you went, what? No. And you think, blimey, you live here. You should have a handle on that kind of thing, but not always the case.
Yeah. And I mean, some of the stories we've come across have just been so tragic. The Cumlongan Castle, just near Carlisle, the story of Marion Carruthers, who in the early 16th century, as you probably know, the borderland between Scotland and England made the Wild West look like a tea party.
Absolutely.
And the Black Douglases got hold of this heiress called Marion Carruthers, who was a very sparky lady.
Yeah.
Said, you're not going to push me around. You're not going to make me marry somebody I don't want to marry just so you can get your hands on my land. And she fought him every step of the way, even to taking her case to Mary, Queen of Scots, who said, yes, you're quite right. You should marry a man of your own choosing. And then Douglas appeared, and Mary changed her mind. And sadly, poor Marion's body was found at the base of Cumlongan Castle Tower on a patch of ground where it said, grass will never grow again. So we still don't know. I'd love to go back there. I've only been once. It's in private hands.
Yeah.
Just try and find out, was she murdered, which I suspect she was, or did she commit suicide? And I don't think a strong-minded young lady who'd put up with so much did that. And yet the history of the area says she was in love with Douglas. No, she wasn't.
No,
she did everything she could to avoid him.
Absolutely.
So I agree with you. The history is so important.
History's the juiciest part. It's how they get to be ghosts in the first place. But have you still got it? Because I've been to Speak Hall. It was a long, long time ago. Have you still got Adam and Eve?
Oh, my goodness, yes.
Now, these are two people that know about pagans, I am a pagan, and cemeteries will know that pagans' place of choice to be buried is beneath a yew tree, and yew trees are like a sacred thing. And the two that you've got there at Speak are over, how old, about 500 and odd years old?
Well, if you want to set the guides having an argument, ask them how old the trees were. We think that one of them could be as old as 700-800 years old. That's Adam.
Right.
And we think, because Eve is obviously a younger tree because she's much slimmer, that she was possibly planted at the time part of the house was built. I mean, when you ask school children who come, can you tell the difference between Adam and Eve? Which is Adam and which is Eve? And one little boy got it spot on. He said, Adam's thicker than Eve.
Well said. Hey, lovely talking to you, Sheila. Thank you for sharing.
Okay.
Good to talk to you. Thanks, my darling. Bye-bye. There you go. Somebody else in the biz. Professional ghost talker. There you go. Got a few things coming in too. Let me share with them. Mark, Mark wanted me to tell you something. What was that? He's concerned about the easing of restrictions. He says it's simple. Ease lockdown restrictions as planned, but ban travel to and from other countries until the end of the year at least. I couldn't care about holidays. I just want to go safely back to pubs and nightclubs. Now, you see, in my opinion, it's safer travelling than it is sitting in a bar full of people singing, dancing, playing musical instruments, singing karaoke, if you believe how you spread COVID by, blurting stuff out. But it'd be interesting to hear your view on all of that. 01914 888 3188. Get your calls in. Time for a quick call, I fancy. And Paul Young, let's have another superstar. What's the best and worst he's ever experienced in his entire career? What's been your highlight and your low light so far, Paul? Your best bit and your worst bit in the business?
Best bit, I should say Live Aid because it was the biggest, but the Freddie Mercury concert was a blast because the Queen fans are about the most loyal fans I've ever come across in my life. And to get up and sing Radio Gaga with them and go, "Oh, you hear is," and they all do that thing with their hands. I was like, my God, this is like Hitler in front of an adoring crowd.
It's power, man.
It's like, it was amazing. It's like the support was unbelievable, and just to feel that for a moment was a very special thing.
No, but on top of that, you did it well, and you were chosen because you had a voice that could do the song well. You did the song amazing. I remember watching it on TV thinking, first of all, Freddie was Freddie.
Yeah.
How the hell do you do it? You've got to do it a slightly different way, your way, and be you.
Yeah.
How's Paul going to manage this? And I thought you were stunning. And it was one of those things where, again, off stage and chatting with you, you've got an air of confidence about you, but when you get up on stage, you can be, to pardon the Freddie pun, you can be mercurial. You're up there and you're doing your thing.
Yeah. Well, I enjoy it, and look, I'm getting up there with Brian May and Roger Taylor and having a whale of a time. How can you not take that opportunity to enjoy yourself?
No, you can live in that kind of company quite happily, I think. It's fair to say. So what about the lowest ebb? Has there been a moment where you questioned it all and thought, oh, stuff this for a game of soldiers?
By about 87, 88, it was getting... I'd gone from the screaming, which was the first time that happened, was a shock. Then it was like about time you had a minder. Then, so I had a minder that hadn't done it for very long, but it was enough to get by. Then we realised he wasn't professional enough, so we got a more professional minder. Then I got two professional minders, were ex-SAS. So it was going up to that point now. And then it was... the fans have all followed the tour bus back to the hotel. It's best if you don't go out. Then they would say, it's best if you don't go to the bar to meet your friends because some of them had got into the hotel. Then it was you best not to come out of your room because they're stalking the floors. And then I started to get like claustrophobia, and I thought, I want to get out. I'm starting to feel hemmed in.
Yeah.
And that was when it stopped being enjoyable.
Your life suddenly becomes, it's not your life anymore. You're just in a box.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, the one thing that really got me out of that was buying a big old Harley Davidson. And when I got home, I'd get on that. Not even, because even in a car or in a plane, you're in a fuselage or you're still hemmed in a little bit.
Sure.
But to get on a motorcycle and ride, after you come off a long tour, being stuck on a tour bus for ages, it felt so good.
You're near the door there, and there's also a hangar door at the far side because you can see under it. You can't see under this way, yet it's warmer there than it is down here.
Yeah. It's really cold down this end.
And as you get further on, it gets colder and colder. Come on.
It's definitely down this end.
Come on. Oh, yeah. It's down here. It is down here. No question about it.
Don't need the big torch with the extra ambient light.
Just here.
Kenny seems to be drawn to this bottom corner somehow.
It just seems to be like this area. And this is where the voice was, wasn't it?
Yeah. This is where she was.
It's this corner. Why this corner though?
I don't know, but it's freezing down here.
It's freezing, absolutely freezing. Heard that.
Is that not the hanger? Could be the wind because it's all metal. This thing.
Not in here. Oh, your eyes play tricks for you in here.
They do a bit.
You keep on seeing it as if you're seeing things, and
it's almost like there's people looking out of the windows of the plane at you. Spooky, isn't it?
Proper chills on me back here. Just here. It's like this area, all this area.
It's like blood stains. No.
Oh, don't do that.
This is just the first of 5, and they get heavier and heavier apparently. But this, I think, from a cold aspect, this is it. And this is where he said we would get something. Come on, speak to us. Noise at the back.
Noise, I heard that.
Did you hear it?
What was it like? Clicking?
Just like somebody messing with something down the bottom. Come on.
That was strange.
Absolutely.
Why touch my hand?
Come on. You weren't shy before. Don't be shy now. Don't be shy now. This is frustrating because we know what we got before. What the hell? Just got a black shadow at the far side there.
On there.
What are they? Are seats? Airplane seats. Something's drawing me back down there, you know, Kenny.
I know. You can tell, can't you? Down the bottom.
That looks like a figure at the end. Tony, come and have a look at this. I'll turn mine off. Hopefully you'll be able to see it too. Oh, it's too much light. Can you knock it down just a notch? I'll point where I think it is. Can you see that? Or is it too dark? Try a little bit of light. You getting it?
Looks just like a small figure though.
Yeah. Bottom left.
Yeah.
Where there's a blackness, and I'm pointing where
it's like a denseness, isn't it?
There's a dense black central thing.
Oh. What was that?
Did you hear that?
And again?
There. Do it again. Do it again.
That was over here though.
Do it again. It's exactly what we wanted. Oh, there's a knock just at the bottom to your right, Kenny.
Down here?
Yep.
Yeah. That's where I got touched my hand just here.
But that was over yonder. Stop playing with us. We want to see you. Show us your moving shadows. We're not frightened of you. We want to see you. We want to be with you tonight. Don't just make a little noise. Come out and show us.
And again. Can you hear them noises?
You must have heard that.
Yeah. Don't know whose mic would have picked it up.
Oh, I see. I hope somebody's did.
It's down there now. It's down there.
Do you want to take on the mic for now, Tony? Ken, can you hand it back to Tony just for the moment? Because I'd quite like him to be able to pick up what we've been hearing. And I think what we've got to do is, let's go to the next one and then we'll start planting people in different places. Yeah, let's do that. Let's visit our next. Last chance for now, although we will be placing somebody in here so you have them all to yourself. Or is that what you're waiting for? Noise behind. Did you hear that, Tony?
That we hate, the noises that do our head in. If you got any more of them, please share. Big thank you to Easter, who says, well, tell you what, War Skid, the vid on the Brack on YouTube makes you look as fit as a butcher's dog. Good on you. And he says, Bill Bailey, my backside. Thank you. Well, hey, the times that are changing. Compliment from Easter. That's not normal. Anyway, here we go. Anne says, evening, Alan. I, for one, was intimidated to get the COVID jabs. I got both jabs, but I won't be having any boosters. So glad that somebody else thinks the same. I only ever had one flu vaccine, and I won't have any more of those either, as I was ill. I am healthy, never had a serious illness, got salmonella from a holiday in Tunisia, eating warm chicken, my own daft fault, but I even got over that. Just eat healthy food. Think I've only had penicillin twice in my life. I firmly believe food is a medicine. You get a much better immune system with fresh fruit and veg, nuts and pulses. If I get a cold, I eat curry with turmeric and garlic in it. Or make hot and sour chicken soup. Works every time. Hey, to each their own, and just stay well, lass. 0191 488 3188. We're off to North and South Shields, starting first in the south with Mark. Hello, Mark.
Hello, Alan.
Hello, mate. What's your story tonight?
I want to talk to you about things that annoy you.
Oh, go on then.
You know when your lass goes to bed an hour before you?
Uh-huh.
And then you go up, you know, and she's fast asleep. So you cuddle into her, and all of a sudden she lets one off when she's sleeping.
Right, I mean, she's not aware of it, or is she?
No.
No. Do you not think, just for a second, you've got in, you're warm and cuddly, you're getting a little bit too close, so she thinks, I got to get him off me somehow, otherwise I'll never get some sleep tonight. So do you not think she sneaks one out on purpose?
No, because she's fast asleep when she does it.
Ah, that's what she tells you.
But if we did it, they shout and ball at us.
Oh, yeah, though the world would end. The world would end if you break wind. You dirty beast! Put a cork in it! I can imagine. Hey, there's one rule for one rule for another.
Yeah,
absolutely. Exactly. Gotcha. What else then?
I want to tell you a couple of spooky things that have happened to us.
Great, go for it.
Like ghosts. When I was about 14, I was walking past the cemetery, and I saw this white shadow, like just standing in the cemetery. But I was a bit skeptic, you know. I was only 14 at the time. Sure. I thought it must have been a light shining onto the thingy, you know.
Yeah.
But I saw it, and then when I was older, the Ben in the house used to always complain when he was 2 or 3 that he couldn't sleep because there was a man in the room all the time.
Right.
Right. And my girlfriend was talking to the next door neighbour, and she says her son's the same. She says he has problems sleeping on the night time.
Right.
But she says man in the room. So I'm surmising years ago there was a big house there.
Right.
Because if you can see it in one house, you can see it in another house. It must have been a big house there at one time.
Yeah.
And one night I was in bed and I felt something tapping us. It woke us up and I looked up and it was this man standing there, all in black with a big top hat on, black top hat.
Right.
And all of a sudden, he just jumped into us and I got like a shiver for about 5 seconds. Now, I don't know if I was dreaming it or not, but it felt real. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, it was vivid to you. Right.
Yeah, it was vivid. It was not like a dream. You might remember it and then it just disappears, but this is always stuck on.
But it jumped into you.
He jumped into us,
Right.
when I was lying there. And it was just like a shiver.
Right.
And it lasted for about 5 or 10 seconds.
Right.
Then it was just gone.
Amazing.
It scared us at the time. Like.
Yeah, I bet it did.
You know what I mean? And then another thing happened was when we moved, I had broken my leg and I was lying on the settee. And all of a sudden, this dog ran into the sit room, started growling at us, barking at us. Then all of a sudden, it just disappeared. And the neighbour next door says the person that lived there before us used to have a dog.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So there you go. Couple of things.
I don't know if I see them or see them. I don't know. You know what I mean? I haven't seen anything else.
I think you've seen enough. You've seen enough, frankly, though, haven't you?
I haven't seen you for the last 3 years. I used to see things when I was little. You know,
but you kind of get trained out of that, don't you, by adults telling you that there's nothing there, there's nothing to worry about, and all the rest of it.
Well, that's what we used to see at the band.
Because I know, absolutely, because when you're little, you tell kids that, but sometimes kids know better than you because they're chatting away to their invisible friend that comes to visit them every night. There's a lot of that going on.
Yeah, I've never done that.
No, you always advise them that there's nothing there to hurt you. But, hey, good stuff, Mark. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay.
Top call. Thanks for listening and thanks for coming on. So there's Mark in South Shields. I said we were going to go to North Shields. We will, for Anna is there. Hello, Anna.
Hi, all right, Alan?
I'm good, lass. Thank you very much for asking. What you got for us?
Well, this is the first time I've ever phoned up, and I've been meaning to do this for weeks.
Well, brilliant. Thank you very much for taking the leap. We thank you for that.
You're welcome. I've been meaning to do this for weeks. I used to listen to your show as a kid for years.
Right, thank you.
And it's only been in the last 4 months that I realised you were back on air.
Right.
Sorry, I'm a bit nervous. I used to listen to your show all the time with my Auntie Sharon, who's from North Shields as well.
Right.
You probably know her. Well, you would have known of her. She used to be a big fan of yours.
Right.
She used to always be ringing you up. Sadly, she passed about 2 years ago.
Ah, bless.
So it was basically just to say hello on her behalf as well.
Right,
Nice to have you back on.
I'm sorry, sorry we've lost her. She was very special.
Yeah, she was. It was basically just to say hello and glad to have you back, you know.
Well, thank you. She's passed the baton on to you, which is a nice thing.
As for the COVID jab stuff, I was one of these people, you know, really nervous about taking the jab.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I took the jab yesterday.
First one or the second one? First one.
The first one.
Right.
And I was kind of like on the fence.
Right.
But I was one of these people that would look into the conspiracy theories far too deeply.
Right. Yeah.
And one story led to another, and it led into so many horror stories.
Yeah.
But then you think to yourself, look at the medication that you take now and all the side effects that can happen.
Yeah, and so, I mean, have you turned into a robot? Are you now beeping when you walk past the television since you've been jabbed with all of the microchips?
Yeah, I've got 3 arms and 2 heads now. No, I'm fine.
How was it, though? I mean, did it hurt? Have you got a sore arm? Because there are some people that have had like a week of unpleasant kind of illness almost.
Well, when I got the jab, I just felt like a nettle sting in my arm.
Right.
About an hour later, I spent, I'm going to be honest, the whole day in bed. Right. Most of the day in bed today, absolutely shattered. But I don't know if it's because I worked myself up into a frenzy, because I know the nurse said sometimes people overthink. So I could be one of them overthinkers. You know what I mean? But I'm absolutely fine.
I think there's a lot of them. I've had them both now. I got my second one the other week, and the first one, nothing, not a hint of anything in any direction, not even a sore arm really. Didn't even feel the sting of the injection. Don't know whether that just means my arm's too chubby. But I got away with it. When I got the second one, I had a big meal and I was unconscious for about 4 hours. So I don't know whether that was the big meal and I was just being a lazy so-and-so. But that's what happened. But as for a side effect, having a nice sleep's not the worst thing that can happen in your life.
Tell you what it is, it's done as well as good. I'm going to be all night bouncing now because I've been asleep for about 48 hours. But like I say, it's probably because I just worked myself up in my frenzy, you know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with this. I mean, I've got a little bit of a sore arm, but it's nothing. I can lift it and move it, you know, it's the main thing.
No, for sure. I do think there's been an awful lot of overthinking and people telling you exactly what the injection does who genuinely have no real idea of what's going on. Do we trust it? I think most people have a few concerns. Is it right to have it done? Well, if you want to go to anywhere, because at some point they're going to say, as long as you've got both your injections, you can come and watch the concert, watch the football match, travel to Ibiza, or go wherever you want to go. That is going to come. It's inevitable that they're going to find a way to spike all the people that haven't had it. So just get it done, get on with it, and get past it.
I think what tipped me over is the fact that if you look at a lot of medication that you take and the side effects that you can get, I know this COVID jab, this vaccine has been done quite quickly. But it is what it is, and
get past it.
Take the chance and get it done. Live your life again if you can.
Give us our life back, please. Thank you. Okay, I'll get on with it. That's the way to be.
Nice talking to you anyway. I just wanted to say hello.
Love the fact that you did, Anna. Thank you very much for calling in. Take care.
You're
Have a good
welcome.
night. Bye bye.
You as well. Bye.
Isn't she lovely? Have to dedicate a song to her, I think. Which one? Yeah, this one. Smokey Robinson and the Miracles.
Supposed to be shy here. Is it just there's so many of us? Is that what it is? I want to hear your voices. Talk to me. Heard your voice before. Like to hear it again. Come on. Come on. Right. Let's get out. Three noises. Where was it?
Seemed to be like
over here. I thought it was. Where did you think it was?
The first one was there, right at the back.
There was like, I think we've got three.
Like gunshot.
Well, I wouldn't have gone that far, but something. Come on. We'll stay if you're going to show us something.
And we're back.
Now, apologies for you disappearing. We heard a rattle, three noises over that kind of way, and then all the energy got sucked away and the camera went off. And then while the camera was off, we got two more noises over yonder. Right, come on, let's. If you're going to make some more noise, I'd rather see you and hear you. Come on. Right, let's go back out into the next one. We're going to see everything, and then we're going to start placing people. I think that's the plan for now. Watch your steps. We're getting the odd knock here and there. Is it through here? I think it is. I'm walking into walls here. I have no idea where I'm going. Oh, some of that's creepy, the baby stuff, isn't it? Yeah. Right, let's get out. I tell you what, you might need, Ken. Let's get you kitted out. They've got big cameras and small torches, but I think we're better off with the smalls tonight, if I'm honest. So there's one for you. Hopefully it'll definitely stuff in there. You turn one of the sides. Make sure it works before we. There we go. Right, let's out. We'll do one more, and then we'll start working. Oh, this looks amazing, doesn't it? Amazing.
There's a dog out there.
They say that there's ghost dogs here. The Jack Russell and a black Labrador. Well, I think we go down and use this one, and then we'll bounce across. Yeah, in fact, let's do this one, because this is the one that you got that fascination with.
100%. Again, I don't know how. There's the door. Look at how high that is.
It's knocking now. Just heard it knock. Because there's no wind.
It's impossible for that to move. It's slid before. Watch the slide 4 times.
And here we are. I hope we catch anything.
There!
Whoa!
Straight away! It moves! It's not me just seeing it.
Oh, look!
It's moving. How can that whole door move?
Can you hear it? Come on! Show yourself.
How can that do that?
Don't be shy. Come on.
It's a massive metal door. Not even one person can move that.
That was a huge noise.
I watched the phone end up 5 times now.
If you hear a peep, don't worry. It's just a burglar alarm for in here. They've switched it off so that people can move around in it.
Oh, it's nice in here.
Come on then. Wasn't our white lemonade? Wasn't white pop? As soon as I got to the door, it was like as soon as I came in. Things annoying. Come on. Blessings to all. We just want you to show yourself and to prove to everybody the glory of your being. I know that we go on. Show others that we do. Come on. Absolutely not.
Glasgow and Murray remain in level 2 restrictions. Groups of up to 30 can meet outside. There are changes for travel too. Quarantine-free Portugal is welcoming tourists from England and Wales again. Emma Brennan from the travel association ABTA is expecting bookings to soar.
It's a hugely popular destination for British holiday makers, so lots of people will have been hoping that they'll be able to get over there at some stage this year, and it's great that it's going to be one of the first destinations that people will be able to travel to.
There had been concern that this latest easing of the rules could be delayed because of the spread of a variant first identified in India. The Health Secretary acknowledged it could spread like wildfire among unvaccinated people. 20 million UK adults have now had both doses. The Prime Minister's celebrating the latest easing, but says it's a step we must take with a heavy dose of caution. In other news, Israeli warplanes have carried out a series of airstrikes on Gaza in the latest escalation of violence in the Middle East. Hamas militants have also been firing rockets towards major cities. And Liverpool goalkeeper Alisson's injury time goal helped his team beat West Brom 2-1. Elsewhere, Everton's European hopes were dented by a 1-0 defeat to bottom side Sheffield United. From Sky News, I'm Kat Suave.
Thank you, Kat. Incidentally, for those of you that are into your football, you really want to check out, give a quick Google to the Liverpool game. First of all, West Brom scored a perfectly good goal, so it should have been 2-2. However, in the 95th minute, the Liverpool goalkeeper Alisson went up for a corner and scored a header that any centre-forward would have been proud of. If you're into your football, something just worth having a look at. If you're not into your football, totally ignore it. And instead, I'll give you your third clue that could win you the Night Owls legendary mug that also advertises a very good charity that you guys have been helping us with. Cash for Kids. It was Cash for Kids Day, and you did us proud. Okay, here we go. Clue number 1, what gropers, molesters and flashers get charged with if they're arrested? Second clue, what you call a bloke who only ever has sex the traditional way. One position, the traditional way. A bloke who only ever has sex the traditional way. I didn't mention Chris, who's on the phone, but I did think of him when I wrote that question. The third clue is this. If you see your man in the company of another woman, you ask this question, okay? This is for the ladies. If you see your man in the company of another woman, you ask this question. Now, you've got the name of 3 songs, if you're geet clever as oot. And there's a fourth clue coming, which is the easiest one. Then you tell me the name of the artiste that links all 4 songs together. It's that simple. Although I do think the clues actually, I think, are quite tough. But you've only got to get one, get a nibble. And then once you've got the artist, you can check out and see if you can make the other questions fit. Okay? Got one more clue to come, and you'll have that in the next 15 to 20 minutes. So keep on hanging on in there. Let me talk to, I think it's Daniel, who's in Jesmond. Hello, Daniel.
Hello, how are you? It's wonderful to be here talking to you.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for coming on. What do you want from me tonight, then?
Well, it's not about a ghost story because she's only 64 and she's still alive.
Right. Okay.
I just a birthday wish to my mother.
Right. Okay.
When they bought their first house, they would tell me and my sister that they would only be able to afford to stay in and listen to the radio. So they've got fond memories of your show. So I think it would be happy to see.
No, that's absolutely wonderful. It's just nice to hear that the tradition lives on, which is good stuff. So thank them very much.
There's been a lot of football talk tonight, but can I ask you, do you remember the FA Cup parade when we didn't win it in 1998?
Absolutely, outside the Civic Centre.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, you've got any good memories from that day?
It was a fabulous experience, and everybody did the team proud. It was good. Good to know. Good to be there in the middle of it all as well. It was brilliant.
Yeah, Leicester yesterday brought back those memories. You know,
absolutely.
Like we didn't win it, but we had a good time afterwards.
No, for sure. And mind you, respect to Leicester, because if you think about what they've done with winning the championship, and I know it was a couple of seasons ago now, but winning the championship, which is kind of a dream come true, and then winning the FA Cup a couple of seasons later, it's just proof what you can do without like unlimited funds, because Leicester haven't like spent a fortune on players, and yet they've managed to pull it off. Just shows teams like Newcastle what they can achieve if they get the right balance.
Yeah, it's exactly the right balance. Earlier you said, what would we do with half a dozen St. Maximums?
Right. Oh, blimey.
We only need one St. Maximum. We need that balance in the team.
No, absolutely.
But we need the mentality of Leicester, like from the top to the bottom.
Right.
Because we've got the cities behind us.
No, for sure. And I think the team that they've got at the present moment would have won more games if the crowd had been in, because the crowd sucks a good half a dozen goals a season more when they're in there cheering and intimidating and doing all the stuff that they do. So
right.
Be interesting to see what happens when they all get back.
It is. Thank you. Well, I was just ringing so if you could say happy birthday to me, ma'am, Leslie.
Absolutely. Leslie, thank you very much, and great to know that we're long-term family. Thanks for being with us, and happy birthday. Thanks again, man. Take care.
Thanks, Al. Bye.
No worries. Bye-bye. There you go. Daniel in Jesmond. And we're going to Beaconlough. We've got Dot in Beaconlough. Hello, Dot.
Hello, Alan.
Hello. Good to hear from you. So, what's up? Something happened?
See that Liverpool game, because the Liverpool supporters here, the screams off my son, that goalie.
It's the last thing anybody expected, and it was a perler that he scored.
He nearly died.
Yeah.
But come in and he says, look at this, watch what he does, the goalie. Excellent. What it is, I've got a little Frenchie.
Uh-huh.
And about a week and a half ago, he took bad. He wouldn't eat, diarrhea and sickness.
Uh-huh.
We phoned up the vets and they were saying, well, it's just for emergencies when they're saying them.
Right.
And it got to 4 days and he just couldn't hardly walk. So we phoned them, took them.
Yeah.
They think it could be he's been poisoned.
Oh, what?
So there's a long grass where we take him up on the field.
Uh-huh.
So your gun's missing in the grass. And another 3 dogs up there fell ill.
Oh, give over. So somebody's putting stuff out. Or...
Gotta be. He was really poorly, so they put him on the drip straight away. They said his red blood cells or something was raised.
Uh-huh.
And they had to keep him in there. Wait, he's a proper mummy's boy. And I thought, oh my God, he's going to kick off him.
Right.
So, and he's never ever slept in a cage. You know them thingies.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the first thing a vet would put him into, of course.
He's never ever been in one. So they took him in at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 4 o'clock.
Uh-huh.
And then while I'm sitting there crying, I thought, oh my God, it's like having another kid. Why not open him, men, and it's like having a little baby. I was sitting crying, and then the phone rang at 7:15. Says, can you come and collect him? He's kicked off. He's stamping his foot and everything and barking.
So he's managed to do it himself, really, by the sound of things.
They say he's had 3/4 of the thingy in him anyway, of the drip, give him medication for him to stop the diarrhea and sickness.
Right.
And then a couple of days later, the vet's phoned back like a different one. And she says, how is he? I says, well, he's still not really. I says, he's only going to his food bowl.
Right.
And he loves chicken. He gets chicken fillet nearly every day.
Right.
And we've been putting the things that he likes. And he's been gone now, and he looks like he's going to be sick and walking away.
Right.
But he was only eating when he was really starving, like a little bit. And I was going, oh my God.
So he's still not right yet, obviously.
So we took him back. See, and he started shaking straight away when we got him in. He must have thought we're going to leave him.
Oh.
So he's got 2 little baldy legs, where they took the bloods off him.
Right.
So she's given him some tablets for his appetite. He's never stopped eating. Honestly.
It'll do him the world of good, though, to build him back up again.
Oh, there was a knock at the door, and I put my bacon sandwich on the thingy, and he never ever does that. And I come in, and there was just crumbs and all over his face. He's never stopped eating. I was going to be rolling and doing the bank, surely. So every time you can't hear him, he's like a pig in the... do you know what that girl was on about, Paranormal?
Yes.
Well, my mother-in-law used to work here in a school, so when it shut, got knocked down, the school, she used to have a caravan here in Bridge.
Right.
So Borden Mill's just after that.
It is, just up the road.
So there was a job there for ladies' boats lying.
Uh-huh.
Like a housekeeper, and like me father-in-law as well. And it's pitch black, dead creepy up there. So he says he had seen things in the little graveyard. Have you ever been where Lady Bowes lies?
Yeah, we have.
Well, yeah,
We've got photographs of it, I think, on one of our websites as well.
Oh, it's like a little tiny graveyard,
That's
isn't
right.
it? And you go and put your name. So he says he's seen things before.
Right.
And one night I went out for a drink, and my brother-in-law was bringing me back, and it was pitch black because there's no lights on out.
Right.
So we just looked and stopped the car. He went, he died. These two eyes just looking at me. Like a big black cat. And I went, oh my God. And he was, and then it went away. And about a few days later, Lady Bowes Lines phoned and said there's something outside at the back singing to get in, like clone.
Oh, what?
And he had to got his gun, because that's what he used to get, gun shooting the pheasants and that. And he went and got the gun, went around, and I thought, I wouldn't be. What the hell?
So what was it? Was it like a pheasant with an attitude? What was it?
It was just like a big cat. Wow. I see it like a panther or something like that.
Yeah.
And he was saying he had read about it years ago. Do you know gypsies or something? Gypsies had one that got out.
I've not heard that story. Is that true? Because I mean, I know that they brought a lot of critters to fairs. I've not heard the story of a panther before, but blame
But
me.
these eyes, I nearly died. It was dead creepy. But now, Lady Bowes Lines died. She died.
Yes.
So they bought a house at Hayden Bridge. The back over at the Hayden Bridge. It's lovely. Lovely little place.
So, I mean, the South's got the Hound of the Baskervilles. We've got the Cat of the Bowes Lions up here, which I suppose is a Bowes Lion is appropriate.
Oh, see, loads of foxes like lately.
Yeah.
Loads of...
Well, I mean, I think the whole lockdown's helped wildlife in general, hasn't it? Because we've not been there to pester them particularly. So we've not been driving as much, not been knocking as many down. So it's thriving a bit. Hey, but lovely hearing from you.
And what? I'm just asking if anybody... I'm after some garden furniture.
Oh, like what? What kind of stuff?
Just one of them, what's it called, Martin? Like, anything really. We built a barn in the back garden.
Right.
The weather's been absolutely naff, so we want some, if anybody's got any for sale.
Right, garden furniture.
Yeah.
So what, tables, chairs?
Yeah.
Things with umbrellas, that kind of stuff.
Aye.
So if anybody's got any garden furniture that you're not using and you wouldn't mind passing on to somebody, deal to be done behind closed doors, I think is probably the best way to put it. All right, Doc.
You're coming for a drink.
I would love to. I'll come now if you like. What time do you finish? Lovely to hear from you, Dot. Thanks for calling.
Brilliant. Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye. 01914 488 3188. I can't go now. I've got another 45 minutes. Let's crack on then. Don't forget, your fourth clue is very, very soon indeed. Stuart from the pool. Here he is. And hello, Stuart.
Evening, Alan. Thanks for having me on the show. First-time caller, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Well, thanks for joining us. What do you want to talk about then, Stu?
As you know, tomorrow's the lockdown ease and that, and a lot of people are excited and that. And I just wanted to talk about the effects that it's had on myself and my mother. It's hugely affected her life. And
in what way? Talk us through it.
Well, to cut a long story short, I'm taking her out of her home on Tuesday for the first time in 7 months.
Right, blame me. How terrifying.
And she's an absolute wreck. I cannot find the words to describe it, but she is just completely on edge, tense, emotional, more emotional than anything, really.
Does she not want to leave? I mean, is she like hardened agoraphobic now?
Yeah, you see, she's always had OCD problems, and it's affected her mentally, especially last year with the when it started all off. And some of the traits that she has is like whenever she locks the door, she has to press against the door about 10 times,
right,
just to make sure that it's closed. And I say to her, I says, "Man, it's closed. You're going to hurt your hand by doing that." And she tells me to leave her alone. She can't help it. It's who she is, and it can be quite frustrating at times, and that. And
I know, absolutely, because you know it's locked. Deep down, she knows it's locked, but she feels she has to finish the ritual, otherwise she's not comfortable. That's how it is.
That's right. And I'm taking her out on Tuesday because she's got an appointment at the hairdresser's, and it's the first time. I can't believe I'm actually going to say this, but it's the first time she's been to a hairdresser since December 2019.
Jeepers. How terrifying is that?
And like I said,
it's going to be a leap for her, isn't it? You can tell. And it's not going to be easy, so good luck with it.
Yeah, it wasn't easy, and I'm doing my best to support her in all I can.
But you mentioned that she hadn't been out for 7 months, and if you look at it, the whole COVID thing has run for about 13, 14 months now. So she has been out 7 and a bit months ago.
I didn't tell you the full background during the first part of the lockdown.
Right.
You see, me mum and I used to live together. We lived in we moved in to a bungalow, and it was absolutely massive. I mean, it was like a family home,
right.
But I don't think it was for two people, if you know what I mean, because the garden was massive. It required a lot of work to be done on it, and I suffered a lot of confinement when I lived in that place. I was restricted to doing things because it was my mum's OCD basically.
Right.
I couldn't. I couldn't just go out for a walk or anything, because that means she would have been checking the door to make sure it was locked, and then she would have had to check it again when I came back, and therefore the ritual would have taken up more of her time, and she would have shouted at me for disrupting her day because I've decided. But
is she ritualistic about everything she does, or is it just certain things like doors, windows, and security? Or is she ritualistic about how she eats and where a plate has to be? I mean, is she?
Yes. I mean, which brings me on to the second thing was I couldn't just go into the kitchen and help myself to a packet of crisps or make a cup of tea, because that was classed as her space, her sanctuary.
Right.
And if I was to just go into the kitchen and open the cupboard, I'd get told off for it. Right. So I'd have to sort of whether I can just
bite your tongue, walk away.
And sometimes this asking her for a snack means that I'm delaying her and doing what she wants to do, because she wants to get on with what she wants to do. But and the fact is just that all this was happening during the first lockdown, and we moved in the bungalow March last year,
right.
And after the first couple of weeks, it got a bit, intense. But after the first couple of months, it got really, really bad. And it wasn't until a birthday in September where I finally got her to come out because there was an easing of the lockdown. So I took her for a bar meal, and you know, she just cried because she couldn't believe how long she'd been in for. And I says, well, Mum, you know, people are allowed to, you know, go for a walk. You know, I says I can't do that because she didn't go to bed till about 6 a.m. She'd be up all night, just looking through her phone, looking at clubs and music on our internet and that. And then after doing that, she'd make coffee about 3 a.m. And then she'd spend the next 2-3 hours just checking and that, and checking, and finally going to bed. But the worst thing about it was just that I couldn't just go to sleep straight away. I had to get up 3 or 4 times to go to the toilet, and because the toilet was right in the back of the bungalow, it was a nightmare. Because my mum, bless her, she was sleeping in the living room on the couch because she was. I don't know. I just don't think she ever really got the sense of feeling at home in that place. You know, it was. I just think she liked the look of it, but it was very. It just wasn't what she expected. And
also, it doesn't sound terribly practical for you, because if I were you in your situation, and you know you've got to walk past your mum 4 times a night, I would buy a bucket with a lid. And the other thing I would buy is an empty tin of roses. You know those roses tins, the metal ones with the lids. And inside I'd have 3 or 4 bags of crisps, a load of ket, in case of emergency. Open the tin. You don't have to ask your mother. Sneak the rubbish in the bin, and not have to. You shouldn't have to have confrontation when you want a club biscuit.
Well, another thing, Alan, the thing was, I lost a tremendous amount of weight when I lived with my mum, because I was eating like 2 meals a day when I lived on my own. But the thing was, because I was only living on sandwiches, and once every now and again, like a ready meal, which my mum would have to cook for me, because we only ever had a takeaway on a weekend.
Right.
So, like, all that time, I was like slowly, like.
An involuntary diet is what it is. You would eat, but you weren't eating, right?
Well, I had to at times when my mum like spent 2 hours a day in the bathroom getting sorted after waking up. I used to order food off the internet, which cost me nearly £10 just to sneak into the bungalow. And I used to eat the food in my bedroom. And I used to hide the evidence in my bag, and whenever I had to go to the shops, because
stick it in the bin,
I'd stick it in the bin, and it was only because I wasn't sure when I was going to eat properly again, because
it just sounds. I've got to move on, Stuart, but I have to say it does sound like you and your mum need, at a time when she's maybe been out a couple of times and she's warming to the idea of getting her life back. You need to sort out. You do not have her issues.
That's
but,
right.
But you're being affected on a daily basis by her issues, and she's forcing you to have the same hang-ups and problems that she has, and that's not fair.
I'm actually trying to get classed as a carer, so I can sort of balance sort of things in her life and look after me own.
She has to go along with that too, though. She has to. If you're her carer, she has to do what you say. And at the present moment, it sounds like you're having to do it her way.
It's very intense, and believe me, it's very
stressful. I can imagine.
It's hard when there's no one around to support, and there has been help out there, but it's been kind kind of neglected, if you know what I mean.
Right.
It's not. It's not been.
It's not been thorough because it's all kinds of support has disappeared during the whole lockdown. But good luck to you, Stuart. I hope it works out for the pair of you. I wish you well. Thanks for coming on, telling us your story.
All right, Alan.
Thanks,
you very
mate. Bye bye. How the hell do you just unpick that and sort it out? That's tough. Mum certainly needs help. I hope she enjoys her day out and getting her hair done and everything. Sean from Concert, Mountain Man. Hi, Sean.
How are we doing, mate?
I'm all right. I'm good, thank you.
I hope you don't think I'm a bit, what do you call it? Bit terrible for what I'm about to say, right?
Go for it.
I had an awful birthday last year when my brother died, like.
Sure.
And I'm 56 tomorrow.
Oh, happy birthday.
I'm going to enjoy myself tomorrow.
Champion, you make...
I was on another radio station and getting condemned for it.
Why?
Well, people were saying, you shouldn't be enjoying yourself, but I didn't have a wake for them. I couldn't do it properly, you know what I mean?
Well, this just serves you right, going elsewhere.
No, but I'm saying, I don't understand why people are condemning people, that's had a bloody hard time of it, like your special bereavement, you know what I mean?
Hey, bottom line is, you've had a bereavement, and again, you have my sympathies for that, of course, but the bottom line is, whether you have or whether you haven't, I believe that all of us, every day, should have as good a time as we possibly can. Full stop. Life's full of miserable, mithering notes.
Aye, life's too short, son, isn't it?
100%. But just the world is full of just whinging bees who have nothing better to do than try and put people down. Instead of saying, it's your birthday, have a blast. Have one from me.
I've never seen my mates for a year, so I don't know what they look like. You know what I mean? I've forgotten what they look like.
Well, they've probably moved. They've probably moved, Sean.
Got big beards and long hair.
No, but you have a blast, mate, and don't let anybody tell you different.
I'm going to, mate.
Good.
I just feel, just
let down by it all.
No, you just, when you had a sudden death, you know what I mean? It really takes the hell out of you, really, especially when you're only 12 allowed at the funeral, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And if you kind of turn around and say to yourself, "Well, Sean, come on, put yourself together, get all your mates together,
have some fun,"
and you know what I mean? And
get it?
I just don't understand people.
Well, you don't even try. I mean, there's social media where there's about 14 really good people and then one absolute tosspot. And I mean, that's normal. And they're just there to wind you up and make you feel bad.
I love hugging people. I love hugging my mates and all that. And they turn around and say, "Oh, you can't do that, and your immediate family. And you've got to, do it properly. And you can't hug indoors. And what a load of crap. What's the point in opening the bloody pubs if you can't bloody enjoy it,
Well, you're going to have a brilliant time.
I'm going to. Aye, too right.
Don't kiss any of your friends on the lips. But just have a nice time. Don't worry about it.
I will do, mate. I will. I just, it's heartbreaking. I know I'm not the only one that's gone through it. You know what I mean? There's loads and thousands of it.
Absolutely.
Thousands of people going through it.
You're not wrong.
But, at the end of the day, like you see, you've only got one life. You're only here once, and
as we are at the moment. This is the thing. I remember somebody saying it was I think they were 44 or something at the time. It wasn't me. It was a mate of mine, and somebody said to him, "Oh, you're 44. It's all downhill to the cemetery now." And you're thinking, "Hell's teeth, really?" I mean, does that mean I'll have to start wearing black from tomorrow? What's that about? Bottom line is, when you wake up in the morning, if the light's on, if the sun's up, you get on your hind legs and you make the best of it.
John from the Grove, he used to get on, my best mate. He lost his brother in a taxi.
He did, I remember.
Well, John died in the fire, right? And now his brother's died of a heart attack.
Oh, blimey. Right.
And then he's, you know what I mean? And you've just got to say to yourself, Jesus, if the just.
But don't smile. There's no time for smiling, minds.
Oh no, I'll not be farting that much. I don't think.
Hey, I saw him smiling, and it's not a time for smiling.
I know, but you're there to hug everybody. I'm going to try and hug all my mates tomorrow, like that.
Right. Hold your breath.
You know
Wear
what I
a
mean?
mask. Put a bag over your head.
At the end of the day, this government is a load of crap because they turned around and said, they knew 4 weeks ago that this virus was going to come into the... I mean, they've sent 20,000 people in from India into this country when they knew the virus was going to come. What kind of a thick, arsehole, white-haired shit have we got?
No, whoa. Wind it in. Not very keen on Boris, let's just put it that way. Bottom line is we're getting mixed messages, and when you get a mixed message, that's the stuff that it creates. You should only hug members of your family and one other family. How's anybody going to police that? Are you part of his family, or are you the other family that he can cuddle? We're all called Thompson, all 48 of us. Doesn't make any sense, doesn't it? 01914883188. Timbo says, Sean says there are other radio stations. Are there really? Yeah, it's the local ones you've got to watch for. 01914883188. They're an endangered species right there. 01914883188. And we're talking to Linda from Barrisford. But just before we do, let's have something absolutely magnificent.